Kept you waiting, huh? In between development of the first two Metal Gear games on the MSX2, Hideo Kojima would go on to create concepts for the cyberpunk adventure Snatcher and the space epic Policenauts. He was looking for ways to break the mold, but was still limited by the memory and hardware he was working with, so he would take breaks from them every now and then. In an article from The Guardian, Kojima said, "It was hugely frustrating making games at that time for me. I wanted to control everything. So after the second Metal Gear launched, I developed my own scripting engine and decided to work on adventure games so that I could have complete control over when the animation played or when the music triggered. That's when I developed Snatcher and Policenauts. It was a way to take creative control back from the programmers." Snatcher was first released for the PC 8801 on November 26, 1988, and the MSX2 the following month to positive reviews, but did poorly in sales. Several versions of the game would be released, including a Western version which also didn't sell well due to it being available on the failed Sega CD, an add-on for the Sega Genesis or Mega Drive. But no matter which version of it was released, Snatcher garnered a cult following over the years. To this day, it has never gotten an official release on newer platforms. Same with Policenauts, which began development in 1990 and was released in Japan much later with versions launched in 1994 to 96. With Metal Gear 2 and these cult classics, Kojima's storytelling was beginning to take shape, and with today's main subject, it took on a solid form. Hideo Kojima's next game was originally planned to be developed on the Panasonic 3DO, another failed console, but it would quickly shift over to the revolutionary Sony PlayStation due to its polygonal 3D graphic technology on characters and environments. A well-made choice indeed. Can you imagine if Kojima's franchises kept coming out on obscure game platforms, continuing to bomb financially despite positive reception? If not for this choice, he would have faded away from the video game industry a long time ago. To take advantage of these new technical capabilities to achieve the vision of his next Metal Gear adventure, he would design the levels out of Lego bricks. For the camera perspective, he used a small 3CCD camera to convey the overhead angle view and switched to first-person mode to see the area and situation ahead of the player. Working along with art director Yoji Shinkawa for character and mechanical designs, it was time to push the medium to great heights with a new title to use with pride. Representative of the series' main character Solid Snake and making the full transition from 2D to 3D, this is Metal Gear Solid. Has it really been over 25 years since this game came out in 1998? This is where things got going and kicked the series into the mainstream. The time has come to celebrate this fantastic game and the rest of the franchise. To start off, why don't we show some artwork done by these passionate fans? Sit tight, I'm going to set up the game real quick. Now let's get started. Starting with the main menu, we get to see some special content. the first of which is catching up with the stories of the previous two games. For the summary of Metal Gear 2 in particular, Kojima would retcon a plot element where Zanzibar Land obtained all the world's nuclear weapons. This was changed to them supposedly being armed with nuclear weapons, meaning the current nuclear-armed nations still maintain their stockpiles, with the reduction of nuclear weapons via the Star 3 Treaty serving a prominent role in MGS1's story. But we'll get to that when we get to that. Any references to global nuclear disarmament during the time of Metal Gear 2 was omitted due to the actual unexpected end of the Cold War on December 26, 1991, while in that game's story, it continued until December 24, 1999. Man, Hideo Kojima was just 1 year ahead of the curve with that one. Won't be the first, and certainly won't be the last of him predicting futures, no matter how many times he rewrites his stories. Anyway, the last time we saw Solid Snake, he infiltrated Zanzibar Land, destroyed Metal Gear D, killed Grey Fox and Big Boss, and escaped to the military nation with Holly! Boy, I hope she used protection during her time there. With the Oilix research in hand, he turns it over to Colonel Roy Campbell and makes himself scarce as the mission is accomplished. Then we have the briefing segments. 6 years have passed since the Zanzibar Land disturbance. In the year 2005, Snake retired and found solitude in Alaska, but he would then get captured by armed soldiers and once again meets his former commanding officer. This is where Roy briefs Snake on the situation and explains why he was brought here. With him is Dr. Naomi Hunter, Foxhound's medical chief, who gives Snake an injection of nanomachine, son! Yes, this is important.
Snake, listen up. It all went down 5 hours ago. Heavily armed soldiers occupied Shadow Moses Island, a remote island off the coast of Alaska.
What soldiers?
Next Generation Special Forces, led by members of Unit Foxhound. They've presented Washington with a single demand, and they say that if it isn't met, they'll launch a nuclear weapon.
A nuclear weapon?
I'm afraid so. You see, the island is the site of a secret nuclear weapons disposal facility.
Foxhound hijacking a nuclear weapon?
Now you understand how serious the situation is. You'll have two mission objectives. First, you're to rescue the DARPA chief, Donald Anderson, and the president of Arms Tech, Kenneth Baker. They're both being held as hostages.
Those are some heavy-duty hostages.
Secondly, you're to investigate whether or not the terrorists have the ability to launch a nuclear strike, and stop them if they do.
So that's our mission going into this game. And if you're wondering why I didn't sum up this part myself, this is to show an example of how lengthy the cutscenes will be going into Metal Gear Solid onwards. Many gamers and even fans of the series like myself have pointed out how dialogue heavy it can get. This series wouldn't be something for those wanting to just play a game or even appeal to the normie crowd. But if you're still here and are interested in getting into the series, grab some popcorn and a drink, be patient, and pay attention. Thanks to Hideo Kojima being the arbiter of lengthy cinematic games with an engaging story and thought-provoking themes, you'll be watching a movie more than anything else going forward. Anyway, members of Foxhound have gone rogue and taken over the nuclear weapons disposal facility in Shadow Moses Island, heavily guarded by genome soldiers. So what is it that they're demanding of the US government? To hand over the remains of the legendary Big Boss for gene therapy to create effective soldiers, removing weaker genes that may cause disease, and splicing beneficial genes as they please. So how much was left of Big Boss after burning him to a cinder?
We've been working feverishly to identify the genes responsible for his incredible combat skill. So far, we've discovered about 60 of the so-called soldier genes.
So his body was recovered after all.
Yes, and his cells have remained frozen in a cryo chamber. His genomic information is a priceless treasure to mankind.
Priceless to the military, perhaps.
His body was burned severely, but it was possible to restore his DNA profile from just a single strand of his hair.
You people are amazing. And then you're gonna transplant those genes into soldiers?
Yes. We'll use a process that I discovered called gene targeting. The strongest soldiers don't become what they are by acquiring their skills through training or experience. We now know that hereditary factors are far more crucial for creating superior soldiers.
Yeah, that's a lot to take in when it comes to science. At least in science fiction anyway. Unlike the previous games, all the villains here are memorable and have character details of their own, which we will get into as we progress. There's Decoy Octopus, the master of disguise, Vulcan Raven, the gigantic shaman, Sniper Wolf, the femme fatale sharpshooter, Psycho Mantis, the mindfucker, Revolver Ocelot, the badass with the cult single-action army, and finally the leader of the group, Liquid Snake. That's right, Solid Snake has a biological twin brother named after a state of matter and has the same codename as him. Oh, and there's also another reason why Roy wants to send Snake besides save those two hostages and stop the rogues from launching a nuke. His niece, Meryl Silverburgh, is also being held prisoner there. She was dispatched to Shadow Moses as a replacement after some soldiers had gone missing before Liquid's revolution started against the US government. So Solid Snake has to ensure Meryl makes it out of there safe and sound. He decides to cut his hair and dye it brown to avoid being mistaken for Liquid. He gets dispatched to the island via a swimmer deployment vehicle so the terrorists don't pick him up on radar. Snake finally makes it to land, equipped with a new sneaking suit, a codec, and a soliton radar. And so, the mission begins.
It's Snake. I'm in front of the disposal facility.
Excellent, Snake. Age hasn't slowed you down one bit.
Thanks to the VR training I did on board the Discovery.
How's that sneaking suit working out?
I'm nice and dry, but it's a little hard to move.
Bear with it. It's designed to prevent hypothermia. This is Alaska, you know.
Take it easy, I'm grateful. If it weren't for your suit and your shot, I would have turned into a popsicle out there.
An anti-freezing peptide, Snake. All of the genome soldiers in this exercise are using it.
Well damn, that's genius. Are there any other ingredients in that shot you gave him?
There are different types which will replenish the supply of adrenaline, nutrition, and sugar in your bloodstream.
Now I don't have to worry about food.
I also put some nootropics in there.
Say what?
Nootropics. A class of drugs which will help improve your mental functioning.
It'll make me smarter, huh? Anything else?
Yes. Benzedrine. It's a type of stimulant. It'll keep you alert and responsive for 12 straight hours. Those nanomachines will also keep your codec's batteries charged up.
Well, I guess I can call you when I'm ready to go on a diet.
You're welcome.
Just what the doctor ordered, huh? Snake sees a Hideo at the front of the facility. Roy initiates a diversion of F-16s to get the terrorists' attention as it takes off. Then we're introduced to Mei Ling, the designer of the codec and soliton radar, as well as the data analyst of this operation. I'll let her explain the game's new radar system. God, she's so cute!
The bright dot in the middle is you, Snake. The red dots are your enemies, and the blue cone shape represents their field of vision.
Be careful, Snake. The genome soldiers have highly developed senses of hearing and vision due to their gene therapy. Make sure you don't let them see you.
Snake surveys the area ahead to decide the best course of action. We choose to crawl through the vent on the second floor, and we get another unexpected call from the returning Master Miller.
I quit being a drill instructor, so I moved out here for some peace and quiet. I'm in retirement, just like you. Once in a while, I still help train the Alaskan Scouts.
Passing on the skills to a new generation, huh?
Campbell told me about the situation here. I thought I might be of some use.
There's no one I'd rather have in a foxhole than you.
Well, I know lots about survival in a harsh environment. I've lived in Alaska longer than you, so call me if you have any questions about the flora or fauna out here. My frequency is 141.80.
Yep, like in Metal Gear 2 before this, you are given most of your contact's frequencies right from the get-go and as you progress. Unlike the first two games, there's absolutely no point anywhere in MGS1 where they decide to change the frequency numbers for whatever reason or another. Snake slithers through the vent and makes his way into the tank hangar. Don't worry, I'll keep the Snake jokes to a minimum. Sneaking by a couple sentries, he makes it to the elevator and goes to the first floor basement where the holding cells are. He picks up the DARPA chief in his radar representing a green dot. He crawls through another vent and he sees...
Is that a woman? Not me.
Finally, he makes it over to Donald Anderson's cell. It is here that we're told the main purpose behind this facility and why the terrorists have kidnapped him and the arms tech president.
What I'm about to tell you is classified information. Okay? We were conducting exercises with a new type of experimental weapon. A weapon that will change the world.
What?
A weapon with the ability to launch a nuclear attack from any place on the face of the Earth. A nuclear-equipped walking battle tank.
Metal Gear. It can't be.
You knew? Metal Gear is one of the most secret black projects. How did you know that?
We've had a couple of run-ins in the past. So that's the reason you were here at this disposal site?
Why else would I come to a god-forsaken place like this?
I had heard the Metal Gear project was scrapped.
On the contrary, it's grown into a huge joint project between ArmsTech and ourselves. We were going to use this exercise as raw data and then proceed to mass production. If it hadn't been for the revolution.
Revolution?
Rex has fallen into the hands of terrorists.
Rex?
Metal Gear Rex. The code name for the new Metal Gear prototype.
Now that sounds like an intimidating mech, and pretty cool considering the cockpit for it looks like a T-Rex. Metal Gear Rex is equipped with a nuke, which is locked with a safety measure through 2 passwords, one of each that only he and Kenneth Baker know. But through Psycho Mantis' mind-reading abilities, they were able to find out Donald's password, and it's only a matter of time until they get the other one. However, he informs Snake about Baker having 3 card keys that could be used to stop the launch, and the whereabouts of him being somewhere with a lot of electronic jamming. Destroying cemented walls that aren't painted can reveal his location. We are then given his ID card to open level 1 security doors. Before Snake is set to get him out of here, something unusual happens.
Wait a minute.
What is it?
You haven't heard any other way to disarm the PAL, have you? From your bosses or anyone?
No.
Are you sure you haven't heard anything?
I just said no.
So does the White House plan to give in to the terrorists' demands?
That's their problem. It has nothing to do with my orders.
But what about the Pentagon?
Pentagon? What is it?
Hey, what happened?
Dead.
Naomi, the chief. What happened?
I don't know. It looked like a heart attack, but...
A heart attack? No,
Colonel, are you hiding something from me?
absolutely not. Snake, you've got to understand. This op is security level red. You need the highest security clearance to get access to the complete file.
You want me to believe that you're in charge of this op, but you don't have complete access to the file?
I told you, the Secretary of Defense is in operational control. I'm just here as your support. Snake, we don't have time to debate. Get out of there and find President Baker.
Damn. There is something amiss going on. A sudden death from a heart attack, the Pentagon being involved with giving in to the terrorists' demands? What are you hiding, Roy? While we're stuck in the cell, we hear a struggle in the background and someone finally opens the door.
Don't move! So you killed the chief, you bastard! Liquid? No, you're not. Don't move!
Is this the first time you ever pointed a gun at a person? Your hands are shaking. Can you shoot me, rookie?
Careful, I'm no rookie.
Liar. That nervous glance, that scared look in your eyes. They're rookie's eyes if I ever saw them. You've never shot a person, am I right?
You talk too much.
You haven't even taken the safety off, rookie.
I told you I'm no rookie!
You're not one of them, are you?
Open that door. You've got a card, don't you?
Why?
So we can get the hell out of here!
Looks like we'll be a little delayed.
What are you doing? Don't think! Shoot!
Since we're in this situation right now, I think it's appropriate to talk about the rest of the gameplay. Of course, we already know the returning elements from the last two games that have been refined along with the new features brought to the table, but when it comes to combat, whether you are detected in a boss fight or a scripted shooting section like this, the gunplay has differentiated a lot. Instead of shooting while moving, you shoot at a standstill when the square button is held and let go to pull the trigger. Keep tapping the button for faster shooting. There is a general exception with the FAMAS you pick up later on. It's a French assault rifle you can go nuts with while holding the button down and move the directional buttons to spread it around while standing still. Not to mention, its shape was easy to model considering the PS1's limitations. For going hand to hand, Snake can deliver a 3-hit combo, which can get a little clunky if you're not in the right range of the enemy to do so. Instead of killing them, it only knocks them out for a small window of time. There is one method to kill without a weapon, and that's to sneak up and grab them. Tapping the square button enough times will snap their necks and their bodies disappear. With enough practice, you'll get it right, and it can only be done while unarmed. There's a lot more weapons to go into, but we'll get to them when we reach the parts where they're required. To add to that, we have some really good music to go with sneaking around, and it fits with the mood of the cutscenes. It's a clever mix of synthetic sounds with a chorus, giving it an orchestral feel. The intense encounter theme plays when Snake either gets detected or forced into battle. Even the sound design is iconic, and they stick well into later games in the series, like the menu sounds, the codec, items that appear, and picking up said items. That alert sound can get startling when you're spotted. Just when you thought you had the area analyzed, you missed at least one blind spot and start running away like an asshole, hoping the enemy returns to their patrol and your radar goes back to normal. So it's always best to be careful when surveying the area, especially when you're playing on the highest difficulty where you don't have a radar at all. Anyway, now that Snake and that woman cleared the area of guards, she uses this opportunity to make a beeline towards the elevator.
Wait! Who are you?
You fool! You've killed him!
I'm sorry, sir.
His mental shielding was very strong. I could not dive into his mind.
Now we'll never get that detonation code.
Boss, I have a good idea.
God, that guy gives me chills. Continuing on, Snake takes the elevator to the second floor basement. Using C4, he detonates the walls where he sees Kenneth Baker tied up to a beam rigged with the same exact explosives. It was good that Snake used his C4 at the right place, otherwise the tremors from the explosions would have messed with the foundation. This is where we have our first boss encounter.
Special Operations Foxhound. Revolver Ocelot. I've been waiting for you, Solid Snake. Now we'll see if the man can live up to the legend. This is the greatest handgun ever made. The Colt Single Action Army. 6 bullets, more than enough to kill anything that moves. Now I'll show you why they call me Revolver. Draw!
This is a pretty simple fight to go through. You equip your SOCOM pistol and shoot Ocelot where he is standing. If you want to get a quick survey of his position, use first-person mode. You have to keep moving to avoid his shots and taking unnecessary damage. And be sure not to trigger the C4 at the center of the room while moving around. Ocelot's revolver will always shoot 6 times before reloading. Once he runs out, he'll take cover to do so. And when he does shoot at you, be sure to equip your rations as well. It's kind of like getting a second health bar. That's a big help, especially when he ricochets his bullets. Clever shot, but I have you beat.
You're pretty good. Just what I'd expect from the man with the same code as the boss. It's been a long time since I had such a good fight, but I'm just getting warmed up. What? My hand! Stealth camouflage. right. You were lucky. We'll meet again. Who are you?
I like you. I have no name.
That exoskeleton.
Snake talks to Kenneth Baker, and he reveals that he also gave his password to the terrorists. Now they have both codes and can launch anytime. It's like they're one step ahead of us, raising the stakes. Baker was able to resist Psycho Mantis' mind reading through surgical implants in his brain.
Kind of like a psychic insulation. Everyone who knows these top secret codes has it.
Even the DARPA chief?
Of course.
But the DARPA chief said Mantis got his code by reading his mind.
Are you sure you heard him right?
Keep that in mind, as that's the first clue for something that will be revealed later. Though Baker was able to resist the mind probing, he unfortunately wasn't trained to resist Ocelot's torture. Snake reveals to Baker that Donald is dead, and he begins to panic. Seriously, something is going on at the Pentagon if they want certain individuals to shut up. Snake asks about the override card keys, and Baker tells him that the woman from earlier has them. We are able to get in contact with her by using the codec.
I'm sure she still has it. What frequency was she at?
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, it's... Oh, sorry. I forgot.
Damn!
Oh, that's right. It should be on the back of the CD case. Try to contact her.
CD case? Huh. Interesting. We're able to find a source outside of the actual game to find what we're looking for. That's pretty clever. Better than the tab code chart, not gonna lie. Next, we are told to look for the head of the Metal Gear Rex project, Dr. Hal Emmerich, at the nuclear storage building in the north. We're also given a conversation about a black market of nuclear materials and how the threat of nuclear deterrence continues to this day.
The amount of spent nuclear fuel and plutonium is increasing even today. Listen, have you ever seen a warehouse full of nuclear material?
No.
Drums and drums of nuclear waste stacked this high, as far as you can see, because there's still no real way to dispose of the stuff.
So they just close the lid and try to pretend like it'll go away?
Essentially, yes. And they're not even doing a good job of storing it. Many of the drums are corroded, with nuclear waste seeping out of them.
Unbelievable.
Not only that, but several pounds of MUF are reported every year.
MUF?
It stands for material unaccounted for. It proves that there's a large and well-organized black market in nuclear materials. Furthermore, since the end of the Cold War, Russian nuclear engineers in particular are out of work with no way to turn. In other words, there's plenty of available nuclear material and scientists for making a bomb. We live in an age when any small country can have a nuclear weapons program.
What about the other superpowers?
Russia and China still maintain a significant nuclear presence. Complete nuclear disarmament is an impossibility. To maintain our own policy of deterrence, we need a weapon of overwhelming power.
You mean Metal Gear.
Baker gives Snake an optical disc of Metal Gear Rex's test data, which is the only known copy before the hard drive was destroyed, and a card for level 2 security doors. Lastly, Snake asks about the cyborg ninja from earlier, an experimental genome soldier, and is told to ask Dr. Naomi Hunter about it.
You've got to stop them. If it goes public, my company and I are finished.
What? Doesn't Metal Gear use currently existing technology?
Metal Gear itself does, but... What did you do to me? Oh, no. Oh, no, it can't be. Those Pentagon bastards. So, they actually went and did it.
What are you talking about?
They're just using you for...
What the hell?
Colonel, are you listening? Now he's dead too.
I have no idea.
Don't lie to me.
It looked like another heart attack, but...
Some kind of poison?
Well, there are lots of drugs that can cause a heart attack in large doses. For example, potassium chloride or dioxides, but we won't be able to tell without doing an autopsy.
Damn!
Snake, I want you and Meryl to work together.
Can I trust her?
More than you can trust me.
Naomi, what the hell was that ninja thing? A member of Foxhound?
No.
Are you sure?
Yes, we have no one like that in our unit.
Is that right?
Snake, I'm counting on you.
Snake exits to the electrical jamming area and finds a safe place to use the frequency we found on the CD case. By the way, if you're playing this on any other platform, including the recent Master Collection release, you can find it on the Steam page or press the shoulder buttons to open a pause menu and select Online Manual where you can find the box art. Anyway, Snake finally contacts Meryl, Roy's niece. At first, Meryl mistook him for Liquid, but Snake explains to her how he and Roy go way back and that he sent him to find her. She informs Snake about this place not being used as a nuclear disposal facility, and it's owned by a dummy corporation of arms tech.
Foxhound and the Next Generation Special Forces were called here for the test launching of a dummy nuclear warhead.
Why Foxhound?
Because they're a special ops group used to handling top-secret missions. They figured they could help keep it all hush-hush.
But we must have fired nuclear warheads before. Why just this time?
I heard it was because this was to be a final test before the formal adoption of the Metal Gear program. Well, that's what I heard anyway.
Sounds kind of fishy. So what do you think the terrorists want?
Sorry. I'm not sure. I was captured with President Baker right after the revolt started.
Oh yeah, that's when he gave you the detonation code override keys, right?
That's right.
Amazing you were able to keep him hidden from the guards.
Well, women have more hiding places than men.
In her chest, she hid them in her boobs, everybody! They both share a suspicion about the deaths of Anderson and Baker. We get information about Dr. Emmerich's actual location in the second floor basement of the nuclear warhead storage building. Meryl has a level 5 security card to open up the tank hangar door that leads to it. The two then have a meaningful exchange about her being a fresh new soldier into the battlefield, considering the compassionate look in her eyes.
You pause for just 1 second in front of your enemy and it's all over. Good luck doesn't last forever.
I don't know what happened. I just couldn't pull the trigger right away. I never had any problems in training, but when I thought about my bullets tearing through those soldiers' bodies, I hesitated.
Shooting at targets and shooting at living, breathing people are different.
Ever since I was a little girl, I always dreamed about being a soldier. Every day of my life, I've trained my mind and body for the one day when I could finally see some real action, and now...
So what now? You want to quit?
I can't quit. I can't allow myself to quit now.
Listen, Meryl, everybody feels sick the first time they kill someone. Unfortunately, killing is one of those things that gets easier the more you do it. In a war, all of mankind's worst emotions, worst traits come out. It's easy to forget what a sin is in the middle of a battlefield.
But this isn't a war. It's a terrorist action.
You're just a little jumpy from the combat high. The adrenaline in your bloodstream is starting to thin out. Just take it easy.
But I learned all about combat high at the academy.
We'll talk about it later. For now, just think about keeping yourself alive.
If I get out of here alive, I'll think about that other stuff.
Okay, let me try to say this another way. Stay the hell out of my way.
You're a real bastard, just like my uncle said.
Huh, I told you, the real me is no match for the legend.
It looks like you were right. Okay, Snake. I'll be a good girl.
Looks like they seem to be hitting it off well. Snake takes the elevator back to the tank hangar, and Meryl opens the cargo door for him. But she decides to take matters into her own hands anyway by meeting him over there while being disguised as the enemy. Now that we have a level 2 key card, we are able to get into doors that are labeled a corresponding number to gather new weapons and gear, like a mine detector and the famous cardboard box with a specific label. Then we make it to the cargo door exit. But hold on, there's infrared sensors that can go off, so it's the best time to use something that can help you see them, like the cigarettes Snake smuggled with him. Here's an exchange from earlier.
By the way, sorry to disappoint you, but I did manage to smuggle out my smokes.
How did you do that?
In my stomach, thanks to the shot you gave me that suppressed my stomach acids.
Cigarettes? How are those going to help you?
You never know.
God, is there anything that shot can't do? though suppressing your stomach acids that way can make food and even gum harder to digest. So equipped with the SIGs, or if you happen to find thermal goggles, Snake makes it across and heads outside to a canyon where across from there is the nuclear warhead storage building.
Snake, be careful. There are claymore mines around there. Use a mine detector.
Who are you?
Just call me Deep Throat.
Man, that just sounds like something you would do while getting it on, if you catch my drift. I mean, hey, if you put certain character names together, you would get something like Solid Snake Deep Throat Tory.
Who are you anyway?
One of your fans.
Oh, people seem to be getting the right idea of who it is if they played the last game or picked up on that voice earlier. Hint, hint. After reverting away from the mine, Snake sees the tank that Deep Throat warned him about. The one driving is Vulcan Raven, ready to fire at him. Damn, he's huge!
That's right, you belong on the ground. You should crawl on the ground like the snake you are.
So we take that into account as we make it across and fight the tank one-on-one. This may seem intimidating, but it's manageable. You just have to throw grenades at it. Hitting the treads with them will immobilize it a bit to help you get a clear shot at where you're supposed to throw them. At the gunner. Or if you want to interfere with its electronics, use chaff grenades. So taking care of the two gunners at the top of the tank, the soldier gets thrown out and Snake retrieves the level 3 security card.
Well, boss, I hope you are happy. He got the card.
We'll play with him a little longer.
You would be wise not to underestimate him.
What did you think of him?
He is just as you said. In battle, he is as if possessed by a demon. Much like you, I would expect no less.
See? I told you so, but I will kill him.
So, General Ivan, I hear he took your hand as well as your dignity.
Watch your tongue, shaman.
In the language of the Sioux people, Sioux means snake. It is known as an animal to be feared.
Well, Snake is mine now. When I meet him next, I'll take special care of him.
Not yet. Don't kill him yet.
He and I will meet again in battle.
Same prediction as always?
Yes, the raven on my head. It thirsts for his blood.
Well, it won't be the last we see of him. I look forward to that battle. Inside the storage building, Colonel Campbell contacts Snake to tell him not to use weapons in that area as it is filled with disarmed nuclear warheads. Naomi is able to use the nanomachines inside him so he won't be able to do so. Now we have a lock for weapons with those things, but it is exactly what Kenneth Baker said.
They're working on a limited budget. They try to put on a pretty face for the media, but this is the grim reality of it. Nastasia knows lots more about it than I do. Her frequency is 141.52.
All of the warheads in those boxes have had their detonation mechanisms removed, so there's no fear of them exploding. But if the warheads are broken, they might leak plutonium, and that would be a serious problem.
This is the only place in the facility where you don't get to use weapons and rely on observing the area to make sure you don't get caught. It is a nice way of experimenting with a no-weapon gameplay style. Though if you are clever and know the layout of the entire game well enough, you could do exactly that, especially for a speedrun and a better rank. Continuing on, Snake takes the elevator to the second floor basement where he sees a very elaborately rigged room.
Snake, watch out. That place is filled with gas. Also, the floor is electrified. First, destroy the high voltage switch. It's the switchboard on the northwest wall.
But how? I can't reach it.
Use a remote-controlled missile.
He means the Nikita, a remote-controlled missile launcher which can be found in the armory in the last building. Using the level 3 security card opens the door that stores it. This is one of the first instances of backtracking to a certain part of the game to get a new weapon or item you can use. However, this can be avoided if you were clever in going back to use the card for the armory beforehand after the tank battle. So it's not too taxing on the pace, but we'll get to backtracking again later. The remote-controlled missiles are more interesting to use than previously. Using the up and down directional buttons controls their speed, though you'll have to slow down a bit when making left or right turns. Plus, the most effective way to steer them in the right direction is to use first-person mode at the same time. Once the switchboard is destroyed, the floor is safe to walk on now, and you can access certain rooms with your security card to obtain a gas mask. Now we finally make it to Dr. Emmerich's lab, and... Alright, time to get to the bottom of this. Who is this cybernetic ninja, and why is his shiny metal ass here?
Stealth camouflage? Who are you?
Where is my friend?
What are you talking about? Oh, what next?
Snake.
You're that ninja.
I've been waiting for you, Snake.
Who are you?
Neither enemy nor friend. I am back from a world where such words are meaningless. I've removed all obstacles. Now you and I will battle to the death.
What do you want?
I've waited a long time for this day. Now I want to enjoy the moment.
What's with these guys? It's like one of my Japanese animes.
I've come from another world to do battle with you.
What is it, revenge?
It is nothing so trivial as revenge. A fight to the death with you. Only in that can my soul find respite. I will kill you, or you will kill me. It makes no difference. Fine. He can watch from inside there.
I need that man. Keep your hands off him.
Now, make me feel it. Make me feel alive again.
Now we fight the ninja one-on-one. Don't let his speed and agility intimidate you. It's important to use chaff grenades to scramble electronic devices like surveillance cameras so they won't spot and shoot at you. They may scramble the radar too, but they are effective for a brief moment of time. This applies to the cyborg ninja, as they will stun him for a window of opportunity to lay a combo of hits on him.
Snake, you can't defeat me with a weapon like that. Pathetic. The old Snake will never depend on such a weapon.
Oh, so you're taunting me.
Snake, who or what is that thing? Is he an enemy or not?
That's what I'd like to know. Naomi, you really don't have any idea?
Maybe I should ask you the same thing.
What?
Nothing. Forget about it.
What? Why that tone of voice just now? What are you insinuating, Naomi? She knows something. Now we're gonna play by the ninja's rules.
Good. Now we can fight as warriors. Hand to hand. It is the basis of all combat. Only a fool trusts his life to a weapon.
As long as you study his movements carefully and time your combos perfectly, he'll get hit with far greater damage than before, but he'll pull a fast one and use his stealth camo to ambush you. We hit him enough times and he starts freaking out with a huge surge of energy.
Hurt me more!
Okay, now will be a good time to shoot his ass! Snake learns of a shocking revelation. The cyborg ninja's identity turns out to be Grey Fox, who was presumed dead after the Zanzibar land disturbance. Naomi knows more than she lets on, informing Snake and Campbell that he became the result of many gene therapy experiments in Foxhound before she even joined their medical staff.
Naomi, why didn't you tell us about this sooner?
Because it's confidential information.
Is that the only reason?
Naomi, what happened to Grey Fox after that?
The record says he died in the explosion.
I see. But even if that ninja is Grey Fox, the question is, why?
From what I could tell, He didn't know who he was.
Are you saying that he's just a mindless robot?
I'm not sure, but he seems intent on fighting me to the death. We'll meet again. I know it.
So you'll fight again? Until you kill him?
I'd rather not. But maybe that's what he wants.
With the battle over, Dr. Emmerich comes out of the locker. Snake questions him about the true intentions behind Metal Gear Rex.
It's a mobile TMD. It's designed to shoot down nuclear missiles. Only for defensive purposes, of course.
Fire! I already know that Metal Gear is nothing but a nuclear-equipped walking deathmobile.
Nuclear? What are you talking about?
The terrorists are planning to use Metal Gear to launch a nuclear missile. You telling me you didn't know?
They're gonna put a dismantled warhead into Metal Gear's TMD missile module?
Wrong. From the beginning, the purpose of this exercise was to test Metal Gear's nuclear launch capability using a dummy nuclear warhead. The terrorists are just continuing the work you started.
No, you're wrong.
I heard it directly from your boss, Baker.
No. A nuclear missile on Rex?
So you really didn't know?
No. All the armament was built by a separate department, and the President personally supervised the final assembly of the main unit.
President Baker?
Yeah. I was never told exactly what they armed Rex with. I only know it's equipped with a Vulcan cannon, a laser, and a railgun.
Damn, even without the nuke, it's really armed to the teeth. Learning that he's been lied to, Dr. Emmerich starts to feel guilty for being a part of something that brings total devastation.
I'm such a fool. It's all my fault. The truth is, my grandfather was part of the Manhattan Project. He suffered with the guilt for the rest of his life. And my father, he was born on August 6th, 1945.
The day of the Hiroshima bomb. God's got a sense of humor, all right.
3 generations of Emmerich men. We must have the curse of nuclear weapons written into our DNA. I used to think that I could use science to help mankind. But the one that wound up getting used was me. Using science to help mankind, it's just in the movies.
That's enough crying. Pull yourself together. Where is Metal Gear? Where on this base are they keeping it?
He informs Snake that Rex, along with the emergency override for the detonation code, are kept in an underground maintenance base north of the communications tower. Thinking that the terrorists don't need Emmerich anymore due to lack of contact, they're set to launch, but now it is time for him to make up for his mistakes.
I'll show you the way.
On that leg of yours, you'll just slow me down.
You'll need me if you're gonna destroy Rex.
I don't need you, I just need your brain.
I created Rex. It's my right, my duty to destroy him.
I want you to hide somewhere and keep me informed. You know this place well, don't you?
Of course I do. And don't worry, I've got this. It's the same stealth technology as the Ninja. Foxhound was gonna use them, but with this I'll be fine. Bad leg and all.
Snake contacts Meryl to watch over Dr. Emmerich, but she ends up being caught and chased down by guards while some strange, mystifying music plays in the background. So Snake is going to have to find her while she is wearing her disguise. The only way to know for sure is to pay attention to the way the guards move.
She had such a cute way of walking. She kind of wiggles her behind.
You were really looking.
Well, she's got a very cute behind.
Well, you can't deny that hip sway. Those hips don't lie. Dr. Emmerich gives Snake a level 4 security card, and he observes him to make sure he doesn't suddenly die from a heart attack like the other victims before. Then Emmerich decides to give himself the name Otacon after the term otaku convention, except it's with a C and not a K like the real-life con.
An otaku's a guy like me who likes Japanimation. Japan was the first country to successfully make bipedal robots. They're still the best in the field of robotics.
And Japanese cartoons played some part in that?
They did. I didn't get into science to make nuclear weapons, you know.
That's what all scientists say.
Yeah, that's a fucking cap. It's just the FMV cutscenes from Policenauts. Where's the Gundams and Evangelions? But hey, you know, at least it's not just shonen anime that the normies only know about. Hell, don't even get me started on the tourists whenever they see a twinge of fan service or a lolly character.
What, are you scared of a little four-letter word?
Fuck yeah, I'm an otaku too.
I became a scientist because I wanted to make robots like the ones in the Japanese animes. Really, it's true.
Just sounds like a childish excuse to me.
You're right. We have to take responsibility. Science has always thrived on war. Greatest weapons of mass destruction were created by scientists who wanted to be famous. But that's all over now. I won't take part in murder anymore.
Otacon gives his frequency to Snake and they head off. We go to the first floor basement and observe the guards. Like I said, those hips don't lie. We follow Meryl to the women's restroom.
Don't move! That's the second time I've been able to sneak up on the legendary Solid Snake.
You're Meryl? There's no way you could pass for a man for long.
What do you mean? Hey, men aren't allowed in here.
I had no idea you were so feminine.
This is no time to try and hit on me, Snake. Besides, it's a waste of time. When I joined up, they gave me psychotherapy to destroy my interest in men.
Sure they did. Like you haven't taken up interest in him from being a fan of his. I mean, do you not see how charming and well-built Snake is? We also get this cute exchange.
How did you recognize me in disguise?
I never forget a lady.
So there's something you like about me, huh?
Yeah, you've got a great butt.
Oh, I see. First it's my eyes, now it's my butt. What's next?
Well, for now, we're just basic polygons structured as people. For polygons, you're not half bad with that butt. I should know. I'm made up of 690 polygons. A small portion of that goes to mine. What's next? Oh, it's only going to get better from here. Even better. And even better! Ass!
Now that we're here, let's go over some character depth with Snake and Meryl. She has always looked up to Foxhound when her Uncle Roy and Snake were in it, not like the gene therapy they have now. She considered them as heroes, though Snake never thought of himself as such.
I'm just a man who's good at what he does, killing. There's no winning or losing for a mercenary. The only winners in war are the people.
That's right, and you fight for the people.
I've never fought for anyone but myself. I've got no purpose in life, no ultimate goal.
Come on.
It's only when I'm cheating death on the battlefield. The only time I feel truly alive.
Seeing other people die makes you feel alive, huh? You love war and don't want it to stop? Is it the same with all great soldiers throughout history?
We'll get to hear more interesting exchanges and deep ideals as we go along. We know Snake is just doing his job as a mercenary, but still sets his own principles. It was established well in the last game and continues to do so here. Meryl gives Snake only one of the 3 PAL keys for the override, or at least that's what it seems right now. So if they can't find the other 2 keys, the only option is to destroy Metal Gear. Meryl has her dialogue where she decides to look at herself and what she has become up to this point.
You know, I don't use makeup the way other women do. I hardly ever look at myself in the mirror. I've always despised that kind of woman. I always dreamed of becoming a soldier. But I was wrong. It wasn't really my dream. My father, he was killed in action when I was younger.
You wanted to follow in your father's footsteps?
Not really. I thought that if I became a soldier, I could understand him better.
So are you a soldier yet?
I thought I was until today, but now I understand. The truth is, I was just afraid of looking at myself, afraid of having to make my own decisions in life. But I'm not gonna lie to myself anymore. It's time I took a long, hard look at myself. I want to know who I am, what I'm capable of. I want to know why I've lived the way I've lived until now. I want to know.
Take a good look. You won't get another chance for a while. You should wash your face, too, while you're at it.
Yeah.
This isn't a training exercise. Our lives are riding on this. There are no heroes or heroines. If you lose, you're worm food.
Yeah.
She gives Snake her level 5 security card and they head to the commander's office. Now this is unsettling as we don't hear any of the music in the background. It's not just a means of setting a mood for a scene, since it was addressed before, but now with the silence, it gives a warning as we don't know when the enemy will strike next. Suddenly...
My head! Oh, it hurts!
What's wrong?
Don't come here, Snake!
Are you okay? What happened?
I'm fine.
Okay. Let's go.
Come on, Mr. Foxhound. The commander is waiting.
Oh, I guess there's no turning back now. We hear the music again, and Meryl is starting to act and sound very strangely. Wonder why that is.
Snake, how do you like me?
What the?
Do you like me? Hold me, Snake.
What's wrong?
Oh, hurry, make love to me. Oh, Snake, I want you.
Now wait, hold on. I just met you. At least let me take you rock climbing first. As it wasn't obvious enough, Campbell and Naomi contact Snake to tell him that Psycho Mantis is controlling Meryl's mind and is ordered to just knock her out. He does so, and now we get to see Mantis in the flesh.
You doubt my power? Now, I will show you why I am the most powerful practitioner of psychokinesis and telepathy in the world.
This is where we get one of the most mind-blowing things to ever come out of a video game, and very rarely do we get to see games do something similar in this regard, including the Twin Snakes remake on GameCube. For the PS1 version, he reads the performance of your game in 3 categories: how many times you died, the amount of alerts you've triggered, and how many times you died to trapdoors. After that, he reads your memory card for different saved games and how often you saved. The dialogue varies depending on all of that criteria. I highly recommend watching Carlito NSP's videos on the subject. He covers it much better than I will here, as I will only be showing my experience in this demonstration.
Now let me read your mind. No, perhaps I should say your past. You are a very methodical man, the type that always kicks his tires before he leaves. You are a highly skilled warrior, well suited to this stealth mission. You are extremely careful of traps. You are either very cautious, or you are a coward. Still don't believe me? Now I'll read more deeply into your soul. I can see into your mind. So, you like Suikoden? So, you like Azure Dreams? You like Castlevania, don't you? You enjoy role-playing games. I see that you enjoy Konami games. You have not said it often. You are somewhat reckless. I can read you like an open book.
This is absolute genius, with a tremendous amount of detail and layers to all this. This was something that you could only experience on older consoles, until now with the MGS Master Collection Volume 1, where you get to edit saved data in 2 different lists, emulating the PlayStation 1 memory cards. They wanted to make sure new players get to experience this and won't miss out. Even before this, it was replicated when playing it on PlayStation 3. We also get to experience the Japanese version of this scene where Mantis reads data from other Konami games released in Japan, including Tokimeki Memorial, and the PS1 ports of Kojima's other works, Snatcher and Policenauts, which is the only one mentioned, followed by the man himself giving a special message to the player. The last fourth wall breaking trick Mantis does to make the player feel immersed into the game world is vibrating the controller.
You still don't believe me? I will show you my psychokinetic power. Put your controller on the floor. Put it down as flat as you can. That's good. Now I will move your controller by the power of my will alone. What do you think now? Can you feel my power now? The demonstration is over.
Finally, we end up fighting the bastard. At the start, he blacks out the screen with a funny little parody of old TV screens. Hideo Kojima just loves sneaking his name into his work. Now you may notice from the get-go that he can read your mind and will not take damage. Very rarely does he ever take a hit. Unless you think outside the box or get hints from your contacts that tell you to switch the controller to port 2 on your console. That can also be done through the PS3's emulation menu or in the Master Collection version by pressing both shoulder buttons, going to the controller settings, and switching to Connect to P2. Now you don't have to worry about it not being in this version because it is there and accounted for to fight him. Other than that, Psycho Mantis will throw Psychic Blast at you and levitate objects to throw around the room. Also, he will use his stealth camo to catch you by surprise, but using first person mode will let you see Mantis' POV to pinpoint exactly where he is. Only once does he use Meryl to attack Snake and even get her to blow her brains out. Once you knock her out again, you continue to pump Mantis full of lead until he is finally put down for good. Snake assures Roy that Meryl is safe. Naomi questions this and continues to be suspicious about the subject of someone's death mattering to Snake.
Naomi, it's true that Snake has killed a lot of people, but that doesn't mean he doesn't have a heart.
It's okay, Colonel. She's right.
So, you used the other controller. I wasn't able to read the future.
A strong man doesn't need to read the future. He makes his own.
Mantis informs Snake and Meryl of a hidden route that leads to the communications tower.
I can read people's minds. In my lifetime, I have read the pasts, presents, and futures of thousands upon thousands of men and women.
Oh, gross.
And each mind that I peered into was stuffed with the same single object of obsession. That selfish and atavistic desire to pass on one's seed. It was enough to make me sick. Every living thing on this planet exists to mindlessly pass on their DNA. We're designed that way. And that's why there is war. But you are different. You're the same as us. We have no past, no future. We live in the moment. That's our only purpose. Humans weren't designed to bring each other happiness. From the moment we're thrown into this world, we're fated to bring each other nothing but pain and misery. The first person whose mind I dove into was my father's. I saw nothing but disgust and hatred for me in his heart. My mother died in childbirth, and he despised me for it. I thought my father was going to kill me. That's when my future disappeared. I lost my past as well. When I came to, the village was engulfed in flames.
Are you saying that you burned your village down to bury your past?
I see that you have suffered the same trauma. We are truly the same, you and I. The world is a more interesting place with people like you in it. I never agreed with the boss's revolution. His dreams of world conquest do not interest me. I just wanted an excuse to kill as many people as I could.
You monster.
Let him talk. He doesn't have much time left.
I've seen true evil. You, Snake. You're just like the boss. No, you're worse. Compared to you, I'm not so bad. I read her mind as well.
Meryl's?
I saw you there. You have a large place in your heart.
A large place?
Yes, a large place. But I do not know if your futures lie together. I have a last request.
What is it?
My mask. Put it back on.
Okay.
Like this, other people's thoughts force their way into my mind. Before I die, I want to be by myself. I want to be left alone in my own world.
I'll open the door for you. If you want to find your future, go through that door. This is the first time I've ever used my power to help someone. It's strange. It feels kind of nice.
I showed this scene in full because I find this to be one of the most profound deaths in the game. Though he is a psychotic monster, you do understand his reasons for why he is the way he is. After many terrible deeds he has done for the sadistic fun of it, he decides to help someone in his last dying breath. Meryl feels guilty after letting him take over her mind.
Never doubt yourself. Just let it make you stronger. Learn something from it.
You're right. I'm sorry. I won't do it again. Snake, can I ask you something?
What?
About what Mantis said. I was just wondering.
What? What's the problem now?
Oh, no, nothing. So, tell me, Snake. What's your name? Your real name?
A name means nothing on the battlefield.
How old are you?
Old enough to know what death looks like.
Any family?
No, but I was raised by many people.
Is there anyone you like?
I've never been interested in anyone else's life.
So you are all alone. Just like Mantis said.
Other people just complicate my life. I don't like to get involved.
You're a sad, lonely man.
Snake says all of that now, but after what he has done to save Meryl right there, we see his own principles through his, sorry, no pun intended, rock-solid exterior. We make it through a cave system inhabited by wolves, and we get to the underground passage. Meryl stops Snake and somehow sees mines carefully placed in this area. Then she makes a path to safely get across. I guess even in death, Psycho Mantis still helps them. But then...
Meryl, get down! Meryl!
Snake, leave me and run.
Meryl!
I guess I am a rookie after all.
Don't worry, Meryl, it's me they want.
Even I know that. It's the oldest trick in the book. The sniper's using me for bait to lure you out.
Damn.
Shoot me, Snake.
No!
My gun. I can't reach it by myself.
Don't move.
I promised I wouldn't slow you down. I can still help. I want to help you.
Quiet down. Save your strength.
I was a fool. I wanted to be a soldier. But war is ugly. There's nothing glamorous about it. Snake, please save yourself. Go on living and don't give up on people. Don't forget me. Now get out of here.
Campbell is shocked by Meryl's suffering, and Naomi warns Snake that this trap is composed by Sniper Wolf, so the only way to fight her is to get a sniper of his own. Snake assures Roy that he's going to save Meryl.
What's wrong, Naomi?
Nothing. I'm just surprised you're willing to sacrifice yourself. You got the genes of a soldier, not a savior.
You trying to say that I'm only interested in saving my own skin?
I wouldn't go that far, but...
I don't know what the hell my genes look like, and I don't care. I operate on instinct.
Like an animal?
I'm going to save Meryl. I don't need an excuse.
Okay.
And I'm not doing it for someone else either. I'm gonna save Meryl for myself. Colonel, don't worry.
Snake, thanks.
I understand. I'm sorry.
What is it? Wolf, I just forget it.
What's up, Otacon? You're awfully quiet after what just happened. So we're going to have to backtrack all the way back to the armory of the first building where we pick up a PSG-1 sniper, and head all the way back to the underground passage and face Sniper Wolf head on. You will also need to use these diazepam pills to calm down while aiming at her. Without them, Snake will shake the rifle, making it hard to do so. You just wait at the right time for her to get out in the open, or when she peeks through her hiding spot to get a good clean shot at you. You shoot her enough times and she's down.
Don't move!
For now, as you get ambushed by guards, Wolf finally comes up close and personal to Snake.
I am Sniper Wolf, and I always kill what I aim at. You're my special prey. Got it. I've left my mark on you. I won't forget it. Until I kill you. You're all I think about.
Take him away.
As Snake comes to, he finally gets to meet Liquid face to face.
Do you know who I am? I always knew that one day I would meet you. The man who stole what was rightly mine. The man who stole my birthright. Me, I'm the man you stole everything good from. And now, after the sacrifice of our brothers, after 30 long years, finally, the two of us meet. The brother of light and the brother of dark. There definitely is a resemblance, don't you think, little brother? Or should I say, big brother? I'm not sure. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You and I are both the last surviving sons of Big Boss.
Liquid gets a call from Vulcan Raven informing him that the government has not responded to their demands and that they'll launch their nuke in 10 hours. He and Wolf leave Ocelot to interrogate Snake to get answers about some trick to the PAL key.
Ocelot, don't screw up like you did with the chief. Yes, I know. That was an accident. I didn't think a pencil pusher like him would be so tough.
Well, his mental defenses were reinforced by hypnotherapy.
Boss, what about that ninja?
He's killed 12 men. Whoever he is, he's some kind of lunatic.
Bastard took my hand. How could he have gotten in here?
Perhaps there's a spy among us. Mantis is dead. We've also got to find out what killed Baker and Octopus.
As Wolf leaves, she tells Snake that Meryl is still alive, despite the brutal shots she's taken. Now, the interrogation section is something most people don't look forward to. You have to keep tapping the circle button as Ocelot runs electric shocks through Snake's body. You must not give up because this determines the ending you get. If you successfully get through the torture, you get the good ending. If you surrender, you get the bad ending. You have to do 2 of these sessions, and in between them, you learn that the DARPA chief has already died from the torture a few days ago, his body decomposing and his blood completely drained. Then we get to learn the truth from Campbell slowly and surely.
Come on, Colonel. Why don't you stop playing dumb? I'm sorry about Meryl, but I want the lies to end now.
What are you talking about?
Metal Gear was designed to launch a new type of nuclear warhead, wasn't it? You knew it all along, didn't you? Why did you try to hide it?
I'm sorry.
Can't tell the grunts, huh? You've changed a lot. Metal Gear, secret advanced nuclear weapons research. Does the White House know about this? How deep does it go?
As far as I know, as of yesterday, the president had not been briefed about the Rex project.
Need to know basis, is that the idea?
These are sensitive times. Even subcritical nuclear tests are causing quite a stir.
Plausible deniability, huh?
Yes. And tomorrow, the president and his Russian counterpart are scheduled to sign the START 3 Accord.
I get it. That's the reason for the deadline.
That's right, Snake. And that's why we can't let this terrorist attack go public.
We still haven't even ratified START 2 or dealt with the issue of TMDs. This has to do with the president's reputation and America's place as the dominant superpower.
So patriotism is your excuse for circumventing the Constitution?
Please, Snake. Just stop them.
Why should I?
Because you're the only one who can.
In that case, tell me the truth about this new type of nuclear warhead.
I told you before. I don't know the details.
I don't believe you. If the situation is so serious, why don't you give in to their demands? Let them have Big Boss's remains.
You see?
Or is there some reason that you can't do that? Something you haven't told me about.
Publicly, the president has been very vocal in his opposition to eugenics experiments. We don't want the existence of the genome army to go public.
And that's the only reason? Huh. Hell with you.
Yeah, this is some sus shit right here. So the terrorists were able to get the DARPA chief's password after all, despite the mental shielding, and can launch anytime. So they will have to destroy Metal Gear Rex after all. After the second interrogation session, Snake and Naomi have a calm conversation to ease himself of the pain he endured. We learned that Big Boss himself was Snake's father.
So, is it true? Was Big Boss really your father?
That's what he said. That's all I know.
And you were able to kill him, knowing that?
Yup.
How?
He wanted it. Besides, some people just need killing.
That's patricide.
Yup. That's the trauma that Mantis was talking about. The one we share in common.
Is that why you left Foxhound?
Let's just say that I needed to be alone for a while, and Alaska was the perfect place.
Naomi tells Snake that she didn't have a real family, but an adoptive brother who raised her well. Sadly, he's dead. Or at least that's what it seems when you consider the way Naomi spoke to Snake before this point. But where those events seemed more in a negative light, what we learn next is what surprises Naomi, and she begins to see things differently.
Is there a woman in your life?
After you've been through as many wars as me, it's hard to trust anyone.
Friends?
Roy Campbell.
You're still calling me friend?
Is that it?
No. There was another. Frank Yeager.
What?
Big Boss's most trusted lieutenant, and the only member of Foxhound ever to receive the code name Fox. Gray Fox.
I learned a lot from him.
But didn't you try to kill each other?
It's true. We did, in Zanzibar. But it was nothing personal. We were just professionals on opposite sides, that's all.
And you still call yourself friends?
Hard to believe. War is no reason to end a friendship.
That's insane.
I first met him on the battlefield. He was being held a prisoner of outer heaven, but he didn't look like a prisoner to me. He was always so cool and precise. I was still green, and he showed me the ropes.
You knew him well?
No. We never talked about our personal lives. Sort of an unwritten rule. The next time I saw him on the battlefield, we were enemies. We were fighting barehanded in a minefield. I know it sounds strange to most people, but we were just two soldiers doing our jobs. It's like a sport.
Men and their games. You're like wild animals.
You're right. We are animals.
So if you were friends, then how do you explain the ninja's behavior?
I don't know.
It's your genes. They make you predisposed towards violence.
Then we learned that the reason why Naomi got into genetics research was so she could find out who she really was, since she didn't know what her parents looked like. She believes that if she can study her genetic structure, she can find out through a person's memory. She doesn't know for sure if memory is stored in DNA, but she knows that a person's genetic fate can be determined by the 4 bases of DNA. As for Snake's genetic fate, she's not so sure. Continuing to wait in his cell, the one guard on duty starts getting the runs. Otacon then comes to help Snake by giving him a ration, some ketchup, and a level 6 security card. We learned that Otacon is deeply infatuated with Sniper Wolf.
Sounds like Stockholm Syndrome to me.
I was taking care of the dogs here. After the terrorists took over, they were planning to shoot all the dogs. But Sniper Wolf stopped them. She even let me feed them when I asked. She likes dogs. She must be a good person. Please don't hurt her.
Wake up, you idiot. She's the one who shot Meryl.
Well, that's all I can do.
They're planning to launch a nuke. I've got to stop them.
Then you have to get past the communications tower.
First, you have to get me out of here.
Come on, I'm trying my best.
That guard's got the key. You'll have to take him out.
Give me a break. I'm no soldier. I can't take anybody out.
You have to.
I'll be killed. Oh, jeez. He's coming back. See you later.
Wait.
Well, great. All we can do from here is improvise. Oh god, I'm bleeding! Oh, the pain and suffering! Dead. What the hell? The guard buys the ruse and we knock him out. Snake retrieves his gear and it's back to business. Oh, one more thing. You can never be too careful.
That was a close one, Snake.
Ocelot. You'll pay for that.
And now we head all the way back to the underground passage again. Yeah, this game's backtracking can be a pain to sit through, and it doesn't stop there. Just wait and see. Thankfully, after this point, we don't have to keep going back to the beginning building to grab some other stuff. We return, and Snake sees Meryl's blood that was left there after Sniper Wolf gunned her down.
Snake, about Meryl.
Colonel, I'm sorry.
Listen to me.
I wasn't able to protect her.
Snake, she's a soldier. She knows that prisoners are a part of war. She joined up of her own free will. I'm sure she was prepared for this.
No, you're wrong. Meryl thought she had to become a soldier. Thought it was the only way. She said she thought it would bring her closer to her dead father.
She said that?
She wasn't ready for real combat. I shouldn't have pushed her so hard. It's all my fault.
That's not like you, Snake.
Master, what is it?
Sorry for eavesdropping, but I just couldn't listen anymore.
Master.
Snake, you can have regrets if you want to. It's only natural. But you can't keep attacking yourself for things that happened in the past. That road leads to madness. Believe me.
He's right. Don't kick yourself. It doesn't suit a legend like you. I'm sure Meryl's just fine.
Mei Ling.
Snake, forget about Meryl. Stop Liquid. That's what Meryl would want too.
You're right. Meryl would say the same thing.
Snake.
What?
Meryl. She's pretty special to you, huh?
Yes, she's special. There aren't many women like her around.
That's not what I meant.
She's the Colonel's niece and a combat buddy.
Is that all? Come on.
This is like a police interrogation.
No,
I guess it's in the genes.
The genes? What are you talking about, Colonel?
No, I just remembered about Naomi's grandfather. I think Naomi said he rose as high as assistant secretary in the FBI during Edgar Hoover's time.
Is that right?
Yes. Yes, he was Japanese, and he became a special undercover investigator to nab the Mafia.
When was that?
Oh, sometime in the 50s, I guess.
Where?
New York, I think.
Naomi, I thought you didn't have any family.
Well, I researched it after I became an adult. My grandfather was already dead by the time I learned about him. I never even had the chance to meet him.
Oh.
Snake, good luck.
Watch your back, Snake.
It really goes to show that a character like Solid Snake has layers to him where he lives up to his principles. He shows a caring, vulnerable side to him while still keeping that cool, hardened exterior. Although he doubts himself here and owns up to what he considers a mistake, his team are here to motivate and prep him up to the very end. There is no malicious deconstruction to him. Great effort, everyone. Go team!
Justin, do you read me? Justin, this is Solid Snake. And I got your message. You wanted me to contact you by codec to let you know what I like about Solid Snake's character in Metal Gear 1. Well, I like a lot of things about Snake. I like how capable he is. I like how, even though he pretends to be a heartless soldier, he cannot help feeling for the people that he's fighting for. The moment he meets Meryl, he knows he needs to protect her. And same with Otacon. The man is a good friend. He's loyal to the mission, but even more so, he's loyal to humanity. And I think that that is the point of the games. There'll always be nuclear threats. There'll always be horrible military decisions. But at the center of it, there will be people fighting to do the right thing. And that's what Snake exemplifies. So, what I really like about Snake is the fact that I get to give voice to this character, and that anyone in the world that's feeling down or oppressed or facing things they can't bear to face can step into Snake's skin and take care of business. So I hope that's helpful for you. I hope that you try to remember the basics of CQC, and that you do your best to avoid getting into any unnecessary crap battles. But most importantly, I hope that when you go outside, you take a cardboard box. You'll just feel more comfortable in the box. Be well, my friend. And listen, anytime you're feeling down, just remember this. Justin, you're pretty good.
Hey, Justin. Paul Eiding here. You know, Colonel Campbell. Your question, what do I like about Campbell in Metal Gear Solid 1? Easier question would be, what don't I like? Because I still remember recording way back in the day, and being able to record with Snake and with everybody in the room, which never happens. I know it's an awful lot of exposition that Campbell gives, explaining this, explaining that, and whatnot. But I think what I really enjoyed was the depth of the character. Not being able to tell the whole truth, keeping secrets, and that was tough. It's really hard because I know this sounds kind of trite, but I just loved working on the game. I loved Campbell. He's everything that I wanted to be, like huge, 6'2", 6'4", maybe. I'm not. A colonel, I was only a sergeant in the Army, which was hard enough to get to. And the whole idea of spending all the time working with David, with Snake. So, God, I wish I could be more specific, but it's hard. I guess the only thing I didn't like was back in the day when you had to, push the toggle left, toggle right, whatever, all that kind of stuff. But everything else about it, I enjoyed the exposition. I enjoyed telling the story and setting everything up for what was to come. So I doesn't give you a great answer from me, but it's true and it's from my heart. And thanks for caring. Still honored to have been part of that franchise. Still an amazing game. Be well, my friend.
Continuing on, Snake finally makes it to the communications tower. Man, he just can't catch a break. Now, some people have argued that this game wants to have its cake and eat it too. By that, they mean how Snake is still thrown into combat for quite a number of situations, despite this mission being top secret, and you can't leave any trace of your presence. I would argue that's the same case for the previous two games, and I haven't seen anyone criticize them for it. It happens from when you start out unequipped, so you won't leave any sign that you were there to begin with. So picking up weapons out in the field makes sense. It's not so much about getting through undetected, despite it being the main mechanic of the game, it's more about completing the mission by whatever means necessary in the context of the story. Can the combat get a little clunky in areas? Yeah, that's pretty much what you would expect from a classic PS1 title. If you're a pro at this, then it might not be much of an issue. Hell, it just means it's only going to get better from here on out. Now that we have that out of the way, Snake finally makes it to the very top of the communications tower, but the bridge to the other side gets blown away by Liquid piloting the Hind D from earlier. As it seems Snake is backed into a corner, he uses the rope he picked up from the bottom to scale down to another route. We snipe down a few genome soldiers to cross the bridge, and we take the stairs up top, until we come across Otacon again.
You're incredible. Like a movie hero or something.
No, you're wrong. In the movies, the hero always saves the girl.
You mean Meryl? Sorry. Forget I said anything. Snake, there's something I've really got to ask you. It's why I followed you up this far. Have you ever loved someone?
That's what you came to ask?
No, I mean, I was wondering if even soldiers fall in love.
What are you trying to say?
I want to ask you, do you think love can bloom, even on a battlefield?
Yeah, I do. I think at any time, any place, people can fall in love with each other. But if you love someone, you have to be able to protect them.
I think so too.
Oh, this is about Sniper Wolf, isn't it, Otacon? Well, we'll get to that soon. For now, Snake has to get to the top of the tower and get rid of an annoying fly. Equipped with a portable surface-to-air missile launcher, or Stinger, he takes aim at the Hind D, which is indicated by the purple dot on the radar. Now, aiming can be a bit tricky with the D-pad, but once you get a lock on whatever part of the chopper it is, just fire. You also have to make sure you're in good cover and catch him by surprise when he doesn't see you. Now, the second phase of this fight is pretty effective with sound design. As Liquid lowers the Hind D, the music fades, and all you hear is the sounds of the weather and the chopper. It's a tense moment whenever it happens, indicating when he's going to strike. With enough missiles, Liquid goes down.
See you in hell, Liquid. That takes care of the cremation.
Otacon gets the elevator to work, and we take it to the bottom floor. After getting ambushed by soldiers who stole the Doctor's stealth camo, Snake finally makes it to the bottom and heads outside, and that's where...
Snake, are you okay?
Otacon, were there any other stealth prototypes?
No, there were only 5.
So, this isn't stealth camouflage then?
What are you talking about?
Someone's aiming at me, in the middle of this blizzard.
It's her!
Wolf? Sniper Wolf?
Yes, it's her. It's definitely her.
Otacon, you sound like you're happy.
No, I'm not.
So then what is it?
Snake, please don't kill her.
Are you insane?
Please! She's a good person. You'd know that if you talked to her.
Listen to me, kid. She's a merciless killer.
I can see you perfectly from here. I told you, I'd never quit the hunt. Now you're mine.
Wolf, no, you can't.
Don't get between a wolf and its prey.
You're pretty good if you can hit me in this storm.
You see, women naturally make better soldiers.
Wolf, don't do this.
Snake, I'm near. Can't you sense me near you?
It's a mistake for a sniper to reveal our location.
Is that right? Well, I'm going to send you a love letter, my dear. Do you know what that is? It's a bullet straight from my gun to your heart.
Please, Wolf! Snake, no!
Quiet! Don't get in our way.
Now I'm gonna pay you back for Meryl.
You men are so weak. You can never finish what you start.
Ready for round 2, huh? Wolf isn't giving up on her hunt, poor Otacon is conflicted on this battle, and Snake is going to make sure no one stands in his way. One thing that I did notice in this arena is that you don't really see a blizzard despite what Snake said. So the only way to give off that impression is that at the end of Snake's position, there's some black fog, and the only way to see the other side is to use the sniper scope, obviously. Anyway, the player uses the same method as before. Use the diazepam pills to calm down while aiming, and make sure she comes out of her hiding place for an opening shot. Do it enough times, and she's down for the count. Snake approaches Wolf, lung shot and bleeding to death upon the snow.
I was born on the battlefield. Raised on the battlefield. Gunfire, sirens, and screams. They were my lullabies. Hunted like dogs, day after day. Driven from our ragged shelters. That was my life. Each morning I'd wake up and find a few more of my family or friends dead beside me. I'd stare at the morning sun and pray to make it through the day. The governments of the world turned a blind eye to our misery. But then, he appeared. My hero. Saladin. He took me away from all that.
Saladin? You mean Big Boss?
I became a sniper. Hidden. Watching everything through a rifle's scope. Now I could see war. Not from inside, but from the outside. As an observer, I watched the brutality, the stupidity of mankind through the scope of my rifle. I joined this group of revolutionaries to take my revenge on the world. I have shamed myself and my people. I am no longer the wolf I was born to be. In the name of vengeance, I sold my body and my soul. Now I am nothing more than a dog.
Wolves are noble animals. They're not like dogs. In Yupik, the word for wolf is Keglanek, and the Aleuts revere them as honorable cousins. They call mercenaries like us dogs of war. It's true, we're all for sale at some price or another, but you're different. Untamed, solitary. You're no dog. You're a wolf.
Who are you? Are you Saladin?
Why? Why? I loved you.
This is a truly heartbreaking scene. Though they fought as bitter enemies, Snake and Wolf have come to respect each other. I guess Snake really did get to know her after all through this battle. Wolf sees her savior Big Boss in him and reveals that she didn't kill Meryl since she wasn't her target. Heartbroken and devastated, Otacon brings her rifle to her and Snake sets her free, dying like the proud wolf she is.
Goodbye. Snake, you said that love could bloom on the battlefield. But I couldn't save her. What are you doing?
Returning it to its owner. I don't need a handkerchief.
Why?
I don't have any more tears to shed. I'm going to the underground base. We're out of time.
I know.
You'll have to protect yourself now. Don't trust anyone.
Yeah.
If I can't stop Metal Gear, this whole place will probably be bombed to hell.
Yeah.
We might not meet again.
I'll hang on to my codec. I want to keep helping.
You can leave anytime. Get a head start. A head start on your new life.
Snake! What was she fighting for? What am I fighting for? What are you fighting for?
If we make it through this, I'll tell you.
Okay. I'll be searching too.
Now that is some real character building. Having come to terms with Wolf's death, Otacon finds himself and his purpose in life as he continues to help Snake to the end. It may take time as he's still grieving, but through learning from the both of them, he will go on.
It's pretty clear to me that there are two things that I really like about Otacon that grabbed me immediately in MGS1. And the first one is his vulnerability, which at the time when we did MGS1, I don't know as there were any game characters that were sort of willing to be vulnerable like that. You know, it was all you know, shoot 'em up, kill the aliens, everybody's a tough guy kind of stuff. And so I really like his vulnerability because I think it opens up all sorts of possibilities, and Kojima took advantage of that in terms of his real examination of the world he creates. So his vulnerability, and then his thoughtfulness, you know, his willingness to examine the world and examine himself, and to recognize that, you know, he's kind of been used and duped a little bit, and to understand that maybe he was fooled and maybe he did some things that he's not that proud of, but then to take action and to, you know, really try to make things better and to correct the mistakes that he was conned into. And that to me is a thoughtful, intelligent person. And again, you know, I don't know as anyone like that had ever been reflected in games when MGS1 came out. You know what I mean? So those are two of the things that I really liked about Otacon, and I think they have proved really valuable over the years and over the different iterations of Metal Gear, because the games are deeper than just kill the aliens, save the world. The games really look at the problems around war and fighting and issues of politics and all sorts of other things like that. And in order to look at that stuff and to really make a serious examination of it, you have to have a vulnerable, reflective character who can project certain elements of all of that. And also, he's a great balance to Snake, who's not like that. And Snake's amazing. And Snake is way smarter than he lets on. And he's also reflective and self-aware, but in a very different way from Otacon. Let me know what you think of Otacon in MGS1. I'm always curious. Okay, Justin, thanks so much for asking. Take care and stay in touch, all right? Thanks. Bye.
Hi, Justin. Tasia Valenza, a.k.a. Sniper Wolf. And Sniper Wolf. And some of the characteristics I like about Sniper Wolf are her bravery, her ability to overcome a terribly painful and violent childhood and survive. I love that she, even though she appears that she kills for sport, she doesn't, we find out, and that she, spared Meryl's life. So she has the ability to have sympathy. And I love that she, her brave nature, her courageous nature, and her ability to be incredibly patient. Those are some tremendous qualities. And her discipline. So, even though, again, I'm sorry that she used it to create violence, I think as a character, she's a very powerful and multi-level and multi-dimensional character, and it was an honor to play her. I hope that's helpful, and Sniper Wolf signing out.
Now we stock up on supplies, and we head to the entrance of the underground base. Oh, hold on. While I change the disc, let's show some awesome cosplay of the series from the fans. Okay, we're back in business. Snake makes his way through a blast furnace and into the underground base. As he descends on the elevator, Master Miller contacts him through a secure private line and reveals the truth about Naomi Hunter's background since he worked at the FBI. There's a possibility that she could be a spy.
Didn't Naomi say that her father was Japanese?
Yeah.
Well, back then there wasn't a single Asian investigator. Also, in the 1950s, the undercover mafia sting operations hadn't even started yet. They first started in 1960, in Chicago, not New York. But you better check it out. The chief and the president mysteriously dying, and that ninja, too many strange things are happening.
Are you saying that Naomi might be behind it?
I don't know. Either that, or she's working with the terrorists.
Could it be?
If I find out anything, I'll call. In the meantime, be careful.
Boy, that's definitely something to think about. But we can only continue forward until something comes up. Snake makes it down to a cold warehouse and Vulcan Raven is standing between him and Metal Gear Rex.
I can't move. The Raven has put the mark of death upon you. Blood from the east flows within your veins. Your ancestors too were raised on the barren plains of Mongolia. Inuit and Japanese are cousins to each other. We share many ancestors, you and I.
I don't have any crows in my family tree.
Oh, so Snake is Japanese as well? Guess we can expect the same from Liquid too. What is it exactly that they came from, huh? Raven decides to test Snake's spiritual and physical strength through this battle. Throughout the warehouse, the player has to make sure that they don't get into Vulcan Raven's line of fire from his M61 autocannon. Best way to take him on is to use remote-controlled missiles and setting up claymore mines within his vicinity. While the battle goes on, the arena will alter as crates will fall from the top and block pathways, and Raven moves faster. Blast him enough times and he is defeated.
Just as the boss said, it is my existence which is no longer needed in this world. But my body will not remain in this place. My spirit and my flesh will become one with the ravens. In that way, I will return to Mother Earth who bore me. Snake! I will be watching you! Understand?
He gives Snake the last security card and reveals to him that the person who died in the cell from earlier wasn't the DARPA chief after all. It was decoy octopus in disguise. He was him down to the last detail through a rubber mask and used his blood in his body. And it's something in the chief's blood that caused Octopus to die. Vulcan Raven departs with these final words as the birds feast on his flesh.
The path you walk on has no end. Each step you take is paved with the corpses of your enemies. Their souls will haunt you forever. You shall have no peace. Hear me, Snake. My spirit will be watching you.
After the battle is done, Miller contacts Snake again. Campbell overhears the situation, but Miller lets him in on this.
Well, basically, Dr. Naomi Hunter is not Dr. Naomi Hunter at all.
What?
I thought her story of her background sounded kind of fishy, so I checked it out.
And?
There is an actual Dr. Naomi Hunter, or I should say, there was one. But she's not the woman we know. The real Naomi Hunter disappeared somewhere in the Middle East. Our Naomi must have somehow obtained her identification papers.
So then who is she really?
She must be some kind of spy.
A spy?
Yes. Maybe she's been sent to sabotage this operation.
Are you saying she's with the terrorists?
I don't want to believe it either, but she is working for Foxhound.
So you think she had a part in the uprising?
Or she could be working with some different group altogether.
Not wanting to take any chances, Miller tells Campbell to place her under arrest and put in interrogation. This situation is also linked with Campbell somehow, since without her, they can't complete the mission. Snake is still not buying what he's saying, as this has something to do with something that killed Baker and Octopus. So what are their true intentions exactly? Snake finally makes it to the hangar bay where the finished Metal Gear Rex resides. There are no guards patrolling the area, but without all 3 override keys, he can't stop the launch. Otacon contacts Snake through each ladder climb as he hacks into Baker's private files. Through them, we discover that the nuclear warhead is designed to be fired from the railgun. It uses no fuel to be considered a missile that will be picked up on radar, so this thing is a full-on stealth weapon. The warhead they're using is also designed to pierce through the surface and into underground bases. Boy, that would cause a lot of damage to the world. Through this, we discover the truth from Campbell.
It's the ultimate weapon. And from a political point of view, it avoids the problem of nuclear reduction and nuclear inspections. Colonel, is this true? Are you listening?
I'm listening.
If word of this got out, it could delay the signing of the START 3 treaty and cause a huge international incident.
Yeah, it would be nasty. The United States would be denounced by the UN. It could even bring the president down.
Did you know this, Colonel?
I'm sorry.
You changed, Colonel.
I won't make any excuses.
Snake, listen to me. This new nuclear weapon, it's never actually been tested, only simulated.
You mean they ran a computer model?
Yeah, that's why they were conducting this exercise. They needed to get actual experimental data to back up the simulation.
What were the results of the exercise?
It looks like it went better than they hoped for, but I can't find the data anywhere on this network. You'd think that data as important as that would be carefully recorded.
It was. President Baker gave me an optical disc with all of the test data.
What? Do you still have it?
No. Ocelot took it from me.
Damn. The terrorists have replaced the dummy warhead with a real warhead. Once they input the detonation codes, they should be ready to launch.
So you think they can do it?
Well, the dummy warhead was designed to be identical to the real thing, so I think so.
Did you find out how to override it yet?
Not yet. It must be in a separate file. Right now I'm looking through all of Baker's personal files.
We're counting on you.
Snake makes it to the control room entrance and listens in on Liquid and Ocelot's plans. With the PAL codes entered, disabling the safety mechanism, they can launch anytime. Liquid reveals that their target is Lop North China, which holds a nuclear test site and can be hidden from the public, while Washington will have to worry about a retaliatory strike from China. Through this, they will have top-secret talks, and the president will have to reveal the weapon's existence.
Yes. When the other countries hear about this new weapon, they'll all want to contact us. Washington won't be very happy when we start selling their own system to the highest bidders. Yes, the president will break. He will give in to our demands.
Big Boss's DNA and $1 billion.
$1 billion? That money will be used to cure our genome soldiers as well. I'm also including the Fox Dye vaccine in our demands.
Fox Dye. It killed Octopus and the Armstech president. So it's true that it affects older people first. Mantis might not have been affected because he wore a mask.
Wolf wasn't infected either. Perhaps due to those tranquilizers she always took.
Something to do with the adrenaline level in the blood. Or maybe it's just because this Fox Dye was still experimental and they haven't worked out all the bugs yet.
So this is also linked to a biological weapon called Fox Dye, huh? Then you have them working with a Spetsnaz colonel called Sergei Galugovich, who gave them their heavy arsenal, including the Hind D from earlier. By Mother Russia, he wants Metal Gear, and in order for that to happen, Liquid is looking to unite their forces, and since they have the spare disarmed nuclear warheads, they can use Rex to target any place in the world. Liquid Snake reveals that Shadow Moses Island will be his outer heaven, carrying on Big Boss's dream.
By the way, what should we do with that woman? Want me to kill her?
Let her live. She's Campbell's niece, and Snake cares for her. We'll keep her as our ace in the hole.
Meryl, she's alive.
Otacon informs Snake through Baker's top-secret files that the override keycard contains all 3 keys the whole time. It's a shaped memory alloy that reacts to different temperatures, and they have to be entered into 3 computer modules from left to right. So we got one aspect of Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake making a comeback, and since we passed a blast furnace and a cold warehouse earlier, you know what that means. Backtracking. 3 rounds of backtracking here. Ocelot discovers Snake and shoots at him, causing him to lose it in the drainage ditch. We are informed through Miller that the card can be picked up from the mine detector, so it can be used as an ordinary metal detector as well. Suspicious, especially since Snake picks up a time bomb and throws it away just like when Ocelot sneaked one into his inventory. Anyway, Snake finds the card key and enters the room temperature key. Now we have to get up to the cold warehouse for the second one. As we are making the rounds, Master Miller contacts Snake again about Naomi and how she was behind the use of Fox Dye, a weapon developed by the Defense Intelligence Agency, and how it's connected to how Baker and Octopus perished.
Snake, try to remember. Did Naomi give you some kind of injection?
The nanomachines.
She was in the best position to have done it, but I don't know what her motive was.
Does the Colonel know?
I'm not sure. But he still hasn't questioned her.
Okay, I'll ask him myself. Colonel, what's new with the Naomi situation?
I just placed Naomi under arrest.
Arrest?
She was sending coded messages towards the Alaskan base. I didn't want to believe it, but she must be working with the terrorists.
Are you sure?
I'm afraid so. She's being interrogated now.
What kind of interrogation?
Well, I'd like to avoid the rough stuff, but we don't even have any sodium pentothal here.
Call me if you find out anything.
So it's true, isn't it?
Naomi, I can't believe it.
That means the Fox Dye vaccine must be around somewhere.
Listen, I've got bigger things to worry about.
But Snake, you might be infected too, you know.
All I can do is leave it up to the Colonel.
That can't be. We trusted her with an injection that can help with just about anything during the mission, only to have the rug pulled out from under us. How could she? Well, we find out after we enter the second key and make it to the blast furnace to warm it up. On the way back, Naomi contacts Snake to tell him the truth behind it all. She grew up in Rhodesia, now known as Zimbabwe, raised by someone who she considered her big brother, Frank Yeager, aka Gray Fox. He found her near the Zambezi River, almost dead from starvation. So she and Fox were in Mozambique when Big Boss found them and brought them to America. Somewhere between those events, Fox was tortured while fighting as a Renamo soldier. Sometime later, Big Boss and Gray Fox would return to the battlefield in Africa, and that's where Snake came in.
You killed my benefactor and sent my brother home a cripple. I vowed revenge and joined Foxhound. I knew it was my best chance to meet you, and I prayed for the day that I would.
So, were your prayers answered?
Yes. I waited 2 long years.
To kill me? Is that all you cared about?
Yes. That's right. 2 years. You were all I thought about for 2 long years. Like some kind of twisted obsession.
Do you still hate me?
Not exactly. I was partly wrong about you.
What about Liquid and the others?
I'll have my revenge on them too.
Naomi, you didn't kill that doctor too, did you? The one that used Gray Fox for his genome experiments?
Dr. Clark? No. That was my brother. Afterwards, I covered it up and helped him hide out.
So that ninja, I mean Gray Fox, he's come here to kill me?
I don't think so. I think he just came here to fight you. I wasn't sure before, but now I think I understand. A final battle with you. That's all he lives for. I'm sure of it.
So she reveals that Fox Dye is a virus that kills specific people through smart enzymes that recognize the target's DNA. They infect the macrophages and create TNF-epsilon that cause the cells in the body to die. They carry into the victim's bloodstream to the TNF receptors in the heart cell and cause a heart attack. Snake suspects that she used that injection to kill him with it, but it's also revealed that he was injected with Fox Dye as part of this operation, so it's not just a decision on her part. But before she can reveal it, she gets knocked out and Campbell takes over.
Snake, I can't allow Naomi to make any more unauthorized transmissions.
What?
Naomi's been removed from this operation.
What happened to Naomi? What did she mean when she said that Fox Dye was a part of this operation? Colonel, let me talk to her.
I won't. She's under arrest.
Colonel, you double-crossed me.
Snake, there's no time for that. Right now, your job is to stop Metal Gear. Okay, Snake?
My god, is there anyone who we can trust at this point? Anyway, Snake returns to the control room and enters the final override key. But just when we thought Metal Gear was disabled, the exact opposite happens. He ends up activating the detonation code. Then we come to a shocking revelation.
Huh? You didn't think you made it this far by yourself, did you?
Who the hell are you?
In any case, the launch preparations are complete. Once the world glimpses the power of this weapon, the White House will have no choice but to surrender the Fox-Die vaccine to me. Their ace in the hole is useless now.
Ace in the hole?
The Pentagon's plan to use you was already successful in the torture room. Snake, you're the only one who doesn't know. Ah, poor fool.
Who are you anyway?
I'll tell you everything you want to know. If you come where I am, that is.
Where are you?
Very close by.
Snake, that's not Master Miller.
Campbell, you're too late.
Master Miller's body was just discovered at his home. He's been dead for at least 3 days. I didn't know because my codec link with Master was cut off. But Mei Ling said his transmission signal was coming from inside the base.
So who is it?
Snake, you've been talking to...
me, dear brother.
Liquid, how the...
You've served your purpose. You may die now.
Damn. So the real Master Miller was killed off-screen and Liquid just happened to be the perfect person to fit his visage. I must say he disguised himself very well and was quite the master manipulator. He reveals to Snake that the Pentagon used him as a vector to spread the Fox-Die virus onto him and the rest of his unit. He suspects Naomi altered the virus's programming before this operation, and she might be the only one who knows about a cure. Though Snake did come into contact with most of the rogue unit, Liquid thinks that he, Ocelot, and Snake were apparently unaffected. But it doesn't matter anyway since their genetic code is identical. They're twins made as the result of a project known as Les Enfants Terribles, the Terrible Children. Liquid Snake has the flawed recessive genes, and Solid Snake has the dominant genes of their father, Big Boss.
Everything was done so that you would be the greatest of his children. The only reason I exist is so they could create you.
I was the favorite, huh?
That's right. I'm just the leftovers of what they used to make you. Can you understand what it's like to know that you're garbage since the day you were born? But I'm the one Father chose.
So that's why you're so obsessed with Big Boss. Some warped kind of love.
Love? It's hate! He always told me I was inferior, and now I'll have my revenge! You should understand me, brother. You killed our father with your own hands! You stole my chance for revenge! Now I'll finish the work that Father began. I will surpass him. I will destroy him.
You're just like Naomi.
Well, I'm not like you. Unlike you, I'm proud of the destiny that is encoded into my very genes. Yeah.
Snake, your blood will be the first to be spilled by this glorious new weapon. Consider it an honor, a gift from your brother. Now I'll show you the power of the weapon that will lead us in the 21st century.
Despite being treated like trash, Liquid is impressed by the creation of Outer Heaven by Big Boss. His idea is still passed on to the new generation. Liquid is hoping to make his Outer Heaven far better in every way than his father's. Now we have come to the epic showdown between brothers as we fight Metal Gear Rex. Like what was said before, this thing is armed to the teeth with rocket launchers, a laser, a vulcan cannon, its gigantic size being able to crush someone flat, and the railgun, which isn't used as it's armed with the nuke. We even have a huge camera perspective to convey the mech's massive size. But don't let that intimidate you. You've come this far by now. Before, you were fighting a tank with grenades. Now it's time to use Snake's arsenal to the best of your abilities. It's still affected by chaff grenades, so disabling its radar for a moment will give you an opportunity to find some place where he won't see you. You use the Stinger to fire missiles at the radome, which is used to see Snake. There are also a couple ration units and some stun and chaff grenades on both sides of the arena. It also helps to have body armor on you as well as enough rations to refill your health. Do the chaff and missile strategy enough times, and the radome gets disabled. As it looks like Liquid is about to crush Snake, Gray Fox springs into action and takes it head on.
Gray Fox, a name from long ago. It sounds better than Deep Throat. So it is you. You look terrible, Snake. You haven't aged well. I'll send you back to hell!
Fox, why? What do you want from me?
I am a prisoner of death. Only you can free me.
Fox, stay out of this. What about Naomi? She's hell-bent on taking revenge for you.
Naomi?
You're the only one who can stop her.
No, I can't.
Why?
Because I'm the one who killed her parents. I was young then, and couldn't bring myself to kill her too. I felt so bad that I decided to take her with me. I raised her like she was my own blood to soothe my guilty conscience. Even now she thinks of me as her brother.
Fox.
From the outside, we might have seemed like a happy brother and sister, but every time I looked at her, I saw her parents' eyes staring back at me. Tell her for me. Tell her that I was the one who did it.
After giving Snake his last wish on the battlefield, we come to Gray Fox's last stand. Not just as a soldier, not even a mess of cybernetic enhancements, but as a man.
Hey Justin, this is Greg Eagles. You want to know what I liked about Gray Fox's character in Metal Gear Solid? Well, first of all, he was a pretty badass cyborg, man. He didn't take any mess. He was on a one-track mission for vengeance, so it got me, provided me with the opportunity to do some interesting things with my voices, to get down in my little register and get all grainy and cyborgy. I love doing that stuff because it really releases the tensions. I just thought he was a really kick-ass character. I think he's one of the most popular characters in the series, and I had a really good time with him, and I hope you enjoyed. Obviously you enjoyed him as well. You know, you asked about the question, but no, I think it's one of the most unique characters that I've played, in that I never played like a monstrous character before like that. He was dangerous, but he was fun. He was therapeutic, and yeah, it was just a great character to play, and it was just such a as you know, it's such an amazing game, and that's why it's been around for 20 years, and people just can't seem to get enough of it, and it comes back in different iterations, and I'm glad that you enjoyed it. Hope you continue to enjoy it. And the Great Fox character was just fun to play because he was unbridled evil, but he had a code and he had his mission, so he had to do what he had to do, you know, as we all do, right? So, having said that, I wish you all the best. And good luck to you, my friend, from me and Gray Fox.
Though he goes down in arms severed by the laser,
'tis but a scratch.
Even he can't defeat Rex as he gets pinned down by Liquid. Fox tells Snake to fire the Stinger, but he can't bring himself to do it. Now Fox is brought down to the ground.
Snake, we're not tools of the government or anyone else. Fighting was the only thing I was good at. But at least I always fought for what I believed in. Snake, farewell.
prayed for death, and it found him. You see, you can't protect anyone, not even yourself. Die!
You'll pay for that, Liquid! Now we're on to the second phase of the Rex boss fight. Though the Ray Dome is destroyed, Liquid opens up his cockpit to make sure he sees his target. So instead of using chaff grenades this time, we use stun grenades. The white flash is the only moment where he will get blinded for a brief period of time. And so will you, so make sure you process where you want to go before throwing it. At a good distance and nice hiding spot, Snake uses the stinger at Liquid and Rex finally gets put out of commission. Snake gets knocked out from the explosion and Liquid brings him up to the top of the mech.
Sleeping late as usual, a snake.
Liquid, you're still alive.
I won't die as long as you still live.
Too bad. It looks like your revolution was a failure.
Just because you've destroyed Metal Gear doesn't mean I am done fighting.
Fighting? What are you really after?
A world where warriors like us are honored as we once were, as we should be.
That was Big Boss's fantasy.
It was his dying wish. When he was young, during the Cold War, the world needed men like us. We were valued then. We were desired. But things, are different now. With all the liars and hypocrites running the world, war isn't what it used to be. We're losing our place in a world that no longer needs us. A world that now spurns our very existence. You should know that as well as I do. After I launch this weapon and get our $1 billion, we'll be able to bring chaos and honor back to this world gone soft. Conflict will breed conflict. New hatreds will arise. Then, we'll steadily expand our sphere of influence.
But as long as there are people, there will always be war.
But the problem is balance. Father knew what type of a balance was best.
Is that the only reason?
Isn't it reason enough for warriors such as us?
I don't want that kind of world.
Ha! You lie! So why are you here then? Why do you continue to follow your orders while your superiors betray you? Why did you come here? Well, I'll tell you then. You enjoy all the killing. That's why.
What?
Are you denying it? Haven't you already killed most of my comrades?
That was...
I watched your face when you did it. It was filled with the joy of battle.
You're wrong.
There's a killer inside you. You don't have to deny it. We were created to be that way.
It is here that Liquid reveals what the purpose of Les Enfants Terribles was. It was inspired by the 1929 novel and 1950 French film of the same name, though there's no connection to Metal Gear story-wise as far as I'm concerned. The name was used to refer to the clones. I mean, hey, the children are being terrible to each other. That counts, right? Anyway, the project started in the 1970s. The sole purpose was to artificially create the world's perfect soldier, and who better than Big Boss? Through 20th century analog cloning and the super baby method, they fertilized an egg with one of Big Boss's cells and divided it into 8 different clone babies. Of the 8, 6 were aborted, leaving only Solid and Liquid to encourage strong fetal growth. The genome soldiers are a result of this as well.
But they're different. They're digital. With the completion of the Human Genome Project, the mysteries of humanity were laid bare. Thanks to Father's DNA, they were able to identify more than 60 soldier genes responsible for everything from strategic thinking to the proverbial killer instinct. Those soldier genes were transplanted into the members of the next generation special forces. That's how they became the genome soldiers. That's right. The genome soldiers that you've been killing are our brothers with the same genes as ours.
The genome soldiers?
That's right. They are our brothers, created artificially through the alignment of nucleotides to mimic our father's genes. They too are the product of numerous sacrifices.
We also get some heavy exposition about how the Gulf War babies were also the result of soldier genes being passed on through gene therapy techniques rather than practical cloning, but they were considered a failure in those experiments. Test subjects would suffer psychological side effects later attributed with Gulf War syndrome. The Department of Defense covered it up as being caused by a combination of uranium exposure, PTSD, and anti-sarin injections.
Have you ever heard of the asymmetry theory? Nature tends to favor asymmetry. Those species which have gone extinct all show signs of symmetry. The genome soldiers suffer from the same problem. Signs of symmetry. So do I. As do you. That's right. We are all on the verge of death at the genetic level. We don't know when or what type of disease will occur. That's why we need the old man's genetic information.
You want Big Boss's DNA so you can save your family? It's very touching.
In nature, family members don't mate with each other, and yet they help each other to survive. Do you know why? It increases the chance that their genes will be passed on to a new generation. Altruism among blood relatives is a response to natural selection. It's called the selfish gene theory.
You're telling me that your genes are ordering you to save the genome soldiers?
You can't fight your genes. It's fate. All living things are born for the sole purpose of passing on their parents' genes. That's why I'll follow what my genes tell me. And then I'm going to go beyond, in order to break the curse of my heritage. And to do that, first, I will kill you.
Liquid reveals an unconscious Meryl with a bomb next to her. Learning that the Pentagon knows about Metal Gear being destroyed and have finally come to a decision, Snake contacts Campbell. It turns out the Secretary of Defense now has complete control over this operation and will launch a run by stealth bombers. He knows of Naomi betraying them, leaving him worried about Foxdie, and is going out of his way to make sure everything in Shadow Moses is erased. Campbell tries to issue an order to delay the airstrike to buy him time to escape. He reveals that Foxhound was under investigation and that Meryl was only transferred to Shadow Moses in order to force him to cooperate in exchange for her life. Delaying this attack is his only chance of redemption after all the lies he's built up to this point. But he is then held under arrest by the Secretary of Defense.
Roy Campbell has been relieved of duty. This is the Secretary of Defense, Jim Houseman.
Put the Colonel back on.
He's been placed under arrest for leaking top-secret information and for the crime of high treason.
Ridiculous.
Yes, he's a ridiculous man. He truly believed that he was in command of this operation.
You bastard.
There won't be a speck of evidence left. I'm sure the President would want the same thing.
President ordered this?
The President is a busy man. I have complete authority here.
How do you plan on explaining a nuclear attack on Alaska to the media?
Don't worry. We've prepared a convincing cover story. We'll simply say that the terrorists exploded a nuclear device.
Smart. You'll be murdering everyone here. The scientists, the Genome Army, everyone.
Donald, the DARPA chief, is already dead.
So, you didn't mean to kill the DARPA chief after all?
He was my friend.
And you could care less about what happens to everybody else, huh?
Well, if you give me the optic disc, I might consider saving them.
What are you talking about?
Metal Gear's test data. Donald was supposed to bring it back.
I don't have it.
I see. Oh well, that's okay. You two are an embarrassment from the 1970s. Our country's dirty little secret. You can't be allowed to live. Well, the bombs will be dropping soon, and you two have a lot of catching up to do. Farewell.
That conniving, desperate asshole! We'll get out of here and he'll get what's coming to him. With no one left to contact for help, Snake faces Liquid in hand-to-hand combat on top of Metal Gear Rex. Now this boss, this was the real hitter for me. Now, the truth of the matter is, I played and beat the Twin Snakes remake first before the original. I'll get more into that later, but playing that version was far easier than what I did playing this for the first time. Feels like a console generation culture shock if I could best describe it. At the time, this was one of the hardest bosses I ever faced. It all comes down to following his attack patterns, how he is animated, and his dialogue. First phase seems simple enough. When he's at the far corners and you try to hit him, he'll duck and counter with a kick. When he's at the second to last parts of the arena, he'll stand still for you to attack, maybe get in a 3-hit combo. Also no, throwing him across the arena won't damage him. Hit him enough times and the second phase kicks in.
Nice shot!
He will start putting up his fists, bobbing and weaving. During those frames of animation, when you try to attack him, he will counter. He also has a charge attack that will do massive damage to Snake, but don't get intimidated. Just keep moving out of the way as he's about to charge. You hit him enough times and he will go berserk, throwing everything at you and moving faster. He will even do a 3-hit combo to counter you too. Hit him and move out of the way. He can also get up with a lunge kick animation that hits hard. Other than that, it's more or less the same as the second phase. Hit him enough times and make sure he gets to the ledge as he falls to his demise. Whew, that was brutal. Maybe it was just me trying to record footage very late at night that I was having a hard time at first, but even after that, I still struggled. Thankfully, after a few more playthroughs, I'm able to get past this fight with little to no problems at all. Snake wakes up Meryl and they embrace, finally reunited. Otacon contacts Snake and there's still the matter of getting bombed.
Is there a way out of here?
A way out? Yeah. You can take the loading tunnel to the surface. There's a parking garage right next to you. The tunnel leads from there to the surface.
The door in front?
No, it's a small entrance to the west of that door.
How about the security?
I just unlocked it. Who do you think you're talking to? I'll take care of security along your escape route, too.
What are you going to do?
Me? I'll stay here.
Are you crazy?
I need a little more time to take care of your escape route.
But...
unlocking the security doors is difficult work. Only I can do it.
Otacon.
Don't worry. I'm staying here. It's my own decision.
Otacon, this is a hardened shelter, but they're going to use a surface-piercing nuclear bomb. It won't hold.
I'm through regretting the past. Life isn't all about loss, you know. Snake, I'm a complete person now. I've found a reason to live.
Good. Don't die on me.
Same to you. Take care of Meryl, okay?
I will.
Okay, I gotta go. I promise I'll do something about your escape route.
Thanks.
Thanks? Well, that sounds nice.
I believe in you.
Thanks, Snake.
Now he's a real bro. God, I love Otacon. Snake and Meryl climb down from Metal Gear Rex and he gets his sneaking suit back. They make it to the escape route and are caught by surveillance. They find a jeep with a turret mounted on and they make their escape. But then...
Not yet, Snake! It's not over yet!
Jesus, dude, just die already! Good old Solid is thinking the same thing as he shoots Liquid to get him off their backs. They make it to the end of the tunnel where the jeeps crash. Liquid shuffles himself to the duo, and as he's about to fire, Foxdie catches up with him and he finally flatlines. They notice that the stealth bombers haven't made it to the island. Campbell makes a call to Snake to inform him that the Secretary of Defense has been arrested and the attack has been rescinded. He was able to get in contact with the President and that everything involving Metal Gear and the training exercise was Jim Hausman acting on his own volition. As far as the data is concerned, the duo died after their jeep sank into the ocean. Snake informs Campbell about Otacon and needs someone to bring him in. With the mission successful, there's still one loose end to tie up with Naomi.
I heard about my brother.
I'm sorry, but he had one last message he wanted to say to you. He told me to tell you to forget about him and to go on with your own life.
Frankie said that?
Yeah. He also said he'll always love you. Naomi, your brother just saved you, me, and the whole world. He fought with every ounce of strength in his body.
Maybe.
Maybe now he's finally found some peace. He wasn't really my brother anymore. Ever since he fought with you in Zanzibar, he's been like a ghost. A ghost looking for a place to die.
Naomi, Liquid died from Fox died too. What about me? When am I gonna go?
That's up to you.
What do you mean?
Everybody dies when their time is up.
Yeah, so when's mine up?
It's up to you how you use the time left to you. Live, Snake. That's all I can say to you.
Now here's where the two endings come in. In the canon ending, Snake and Meryl head down to the Alaskan glaciers and find the snowmobile to leave Shadow Moses. Meryl finds a bandana and gives it to Snake. This is a clever way to let the player know that they can use it in a repeat playthrough with infinite ammo. Though if you submit to the torture from Ocelot earlier and escape the island with Otacon, he gives you his stealth camo, which is also an unlockable. You also unlock Solid Snake wearing a classic tuxedo, looking very suave. The name's Snake. James Snake. It's also the ending where you learn that Meryl is not actually Roy Campbell's niece, but rather his real daughter after reading from a letter he got from her mother. Even though this ending isn't canon, that aspect is still carried over to the rest of the series. Anyway, let's roll the rest of the real ending where these characters ride off into the sunrise and enjoy life.
So, where to, Snake?
David. My name's David.
Oh, I see. David. And Otacon's real name is Hal, yes? This is a reference to 2001: A Space Odyssey! Man, Kojima sure loves his movie references and Easter eggs. Gotta love him for inserting trivia like that.
I think it's time we look for a new path in life.
A new path?
A new purpose.
Will we find it?
We'll find it. I know we'll find it.
What are those?
Caribou. To the Aleutians, the caribou is a symbol of life. It'll be spring here soon.
For us too.
Yeah. Spring brings new life to everything. It's a time for hope. I've lived here a long time, but Alaska has never looked more beautiful. The sky, the sea, the caribou, and most of all, you.
I think I'm gonna like this new life.
Come on. Let's enjoy life.
The credits play, and we get one last piece of dialogue from Ocelot talking to someone on the phone.
Yes, sir. The entire unit was wiped out. Those two are still alive. The Vector? Yes, sir. Fox die should become activated soon. Right on schedule. Yes, sir. I recovered all of Rex's dummy warhead data. No, sir. My cover is intact. Nobody knows who I really am. Yes, the DARPA chief knew my identity, but he's been disposed of. Yes, the inferior one was the winner after all. That's right. Until the very end, Liquid thought he was the inferior one. Yes, sir, I agree completely. It takes a well-balanced individual such as yourself to rule the world. No, sir. No one knows that you were the third one, Solidus. What should I do about the woman? Yes, sir. I'll keep her under surveillance. Yes. Thank you. Goodbye, Mr. President.
And that's Metal Gear Solid. Damn, that is one hell of a cliffhanger ending. So he's kept the test data with him all this time and delivered it to this Solidus character. Who is he? How can there be a third child of the late enfant terrible? The genes between Liquid and Solid Snake were the other way around the whole time? How did Solidus become the president? What is going on? All of that, or at the very least, most of that would be answered if a sequel were to happen. Sure enough, this game was successful enough to warrant one, though we will discuss it in another video. So what else can I say about this game as a whole? It's brilliant. Even though the game has shown some rough edges, it still manages to tell an engaging story with well-written characters all around, the gameplay is more fleshed out than previously, the score is iconic, the best is yet to come is a beautiful music piece, and the voice acting is fantastic for a PS1 game. They probably shouldn't have gone that far, but to see believable and convincing performances in a video game is one of the stepping stones of pushing the industry forward. Oh, and at the end of the game, you are ranked based on your performance like before. The highest being Big Boss, and those requirements are quite the challenge to be sure, but it is there should you take that challenge. But as Liquid said before, it's not over yet! We're going to briefly look at VR missions and the remake on the Nintendo GameCube, Metal Gear Solid: The Twin Snakes. VR missions is more of a challenge run for you to test your stealth and weapon capabilities. There's also a number of crazy content to go with it, like solving mysteries in special mode, and even a photography mode where you take pictures of Mei Ling and Naomi. You also have a few challenges while playing as Grey Fox. Strange how he has very little to do here despite being the prominent character in the cover and title screen of VR missions. The soundtrack from Metal Gear 2 Solid Snake is remixed in this title, and it fucking slaps. Finally, we have the Twin Snakes remake developed by Eternal Darkness developer Silicon Knights. MGS1 was the only game in the series to receive the remake treatment for newer hardware at the time, until we got the announcement for the upcoming remake of MGS3, Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater. Twin Snakes combines the setting of the original MGS1 with the gameplay from Metal Gear Solid 2. This came out on GameCube in 2004, a few years after MGS2 released in 2001. The script is almost entirely new with different dialogue changes, some that make sense while others do not.
His body was burned severely, but it was possible to restore his DNA profile from just a single strand of his hair.
Oh heck, it's like some kind of dinosaur theme park.
Yeah, because restoring the body of the most legendary soldier of the 20th century is definitely the same as bringing back dinosaurs from the blood inside prehistoric mosquitoes encased in amber. Totally similar, isn't it? But that's not to say the English script in the original didn't have its own fair share of nonsensical dialogue changes. The localizer of MGS1, Jeremy Blostein, had a hand in changing dialogue from the original Japanese text, which didn't help further convey the themes of the game better. The changes that were made are less subtle and narrow down the scope of what was supposed to be said, like Psycho Mantis' nostalgic reference to his mother in his dying words, Solid Snake finding meaning on the battlefield instead of straight up saying he's just good at killing, and giving him a joke about Vulcan Raven. And Jeremy sure as shit took the opportunity to say in his article from Polygon that his changes were better, expressing his personal feelings about the original dialogue. Which begs the question, shouldn't the script be an accurate translation entirely and not change something because you don't like it? Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Going back to Twin Snakes, Hideo Kojima apparently didn't like the English localizations of the original MGS1, so along with giving this remake his approval, he would have a hand in making sure the script was as accurate to the original Japanese text as possible, something he would do for the later entries in the series. It is commendable that they brought almost the entire cast back for this remake, but their performances sound a little flatter than before, making the weight of some scenes feel less engaging.
What are you waiting for? Shoot!
Don't talk to me like a rookie!
I'm telling you, shoot! What are you waiting for? Shoot!
Don't talk to me like a rookie!
I'm telling you, shoot!
In terms of the rest of the presentation, this remake took notes from Metal Gear Solid 2 and made things far more over the top than the original. Scenes end up feeling more like The Matrix with slowdown, camera shots get intense, and even Snake and some of the villains end up doing something you wouldn't expect them to do in the original. But you know what? MGS2 and later entries had their fair share of crazy over-the-top action and cinematography. If Hideo Kojima made MGS1 later in 2001 to build up hype for the sequel, he probably would make the scenes more crazy. Well, except maybe this part.
What frequency was she at?
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, it's... Huh? Oh, sorry. I forgot. Damn!
Well, okay, he doesn't actually shoot him here, but damn, was that really necessary? Easily the best scene out of this remake is when we say goodbye to Sniper Wolf. All the wolves and a cute little puppy participate in her departure, and the shots add more emotional weight to this scene. At least the gameplay is much better. The only glaring problem here is that the level design and how it's laid out isn't properly changed to fit in with it. It makes it one of the easiest games to speedrun depending on which platform you play it on, though speedruns for the original end up being much shorter. You can even get an M9 tranquilizer pistol at the starting point of the game for when you want to go for that no-kill run. Also, the backtracking was cut down tremendously. You can pick up a PSG-1 tranquilizer rifle in the first floor basement of the nuclear storage facility and deal with Sniper Wolf that way. You can change the keycard temperatures in the hangar rather than going back and forth to the cold warehouse and blast furnace. There are some real exploits that make it far easier if you know what to do. You can lure an enemy to the position where you knocked on the wall, and while he makes his way up top, you can slip by easily by using a new feature where Snake can hang ledges and let go when there's a foothold below. Yeah, even though they can see at greater distances and altitudes, that can still be used to Snake's advantage. You can draw your weapon in first-person mode, though don't get too excited, it's not like how you would play Doom or Halo. Even lockers can be used as a hiding spot for yourself or an unconscious body, though it will raise suspicion from the enemy and they will beef up security when they don't get a response from one of their comrades. Those gameplay elements and more will be explored further in my analysis for Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty, so stay tuned for that later. Even with me admitting to having started MGS1 with Twin Snakes first, I can admit this game has major problems that make it lame only in comparison to the original. But it's still a fun time. Whichever one you go with is fine by me. Well, I think I covered enough ground here. I implore those who have not played this game to check it out for yourself. This one still holds up over 25 years later, and I'm glad to continue to celebrate this beloved franchise and share it with you all. So thank you all for tuning in. Holy crap, this was my biggest project ever made to date. Onward to the next game in the series, as well as some other works I got going on behind the scenes. A very special thanks go to the members of the voice cast I got into contact with. Your answers and your kind words meant so much, and I will carry them with me always. Be sure to check them out on their socials that I will leave links to in the description. Be sure to check out the artists and cosplayers I credited while I showed their amazing work. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, check out my socials, and I'll catch you.